This week in games, let's break down everything that happened at the State of Play. The DICE Award winners have been announced, and Highguard Studio faces massive layoffs. It's all Connor's fault. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 287. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Good greetings on this beautiful day, at least in Texas.
It's quite a nice day today. It's quite a nice, which is nice because it's been cold, and often it's too hot here, but it wasn't too hot last summer. And then, we got ourselves a little winter storm. Wasn't the worst winter storm ever, but, it was a little intense for Texas standards, for sure.
Maybe we'll get another one. That's how it's been. The trend's usually been, like in March, we get some surprise one.
Yeah, but it's usually like a really, lame...
But, they did say this last winter storm was going to be like one of the worst, and then, at least in our case, it wasn't the worst. Maybe the worst is yet to come.
I mean, it was bad, but I think it's because we had the real bad one just a few years ago in recent memory that, people were prepared for it.
Yeah, that's true.
People
always overreact to cold weather like that in Texas.
Well, I mean, we don't have the infrastructure for it. It's very important to know that.
We don't.
And we don't get snow, we get ice. It's just ice.
But it's because of that then people then overcorrect. Because, just don't go on the roads if you're not, a good driver. Unlike me. I went on the road twice, and I was fine.
I'm a good driver, but there was one time where I was like, I'm going to fucking end up stopping in the middle of this intersection if the car doesn't stop right now.
Yeah, you got to be, you got to make sure you press the brakes. But we don't need to worry about that now.
I pressed the brake. You have to, tap it. You have to...
But in advance, before you would usually do.
Well, of course I did that, Connor. Of course I did that.
If you did do it properly, you wouldn't have had any kind of
nothing happened, but, it was just a thing. It was just a thing. It was a moment of oh, shit, it's happening.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just a better driver than most people, so I just think that.
I've been in a car with you.
Yep, and I can go and do maneuvers that other people can only dream of.
Connor, we've got ourselves a busy week this week. This might end up being quite a long
event. Were you looking at a word? Can't think of a word?
No. I'm cutting this out. I just wanted a harder list.
Oh, I see.
Who's usually good? Is GameSpot usually pretty good about it? Do they go
in
order?
Yeah, yep.
Kira, Ghost Legends. Is that in order?
It looks like it is. Kana,
this feels in order.
Yeah, it is. Even if it's not, it's good enough.
Man, we're just on our A game today.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I want...
Did the dog get there?
Yeah, she walked. She got herself over there a little while ago. All right. Connor, it's quite a busy week this week. We got a lot of news to cover. This might be a long episode.
It could be.
And some of it enthusiasts, some of it more commentary, some of it more, unfortunate news that we'll get to later at the end. We're saying rest in peace to a legend later on in the episode. But of course, Connor, we had a lot of busy stuff this week. We had the DICE Awards, a PlayStation State of Play. We're going to cover all of that. We're going to go in depth. We're going to talk about all of our opinions on all of the things that happened, all right? But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Two Penny Gamescast, where each week we dive deep into the nerdy news you need to know in order to elevate the conversation around games. We each come to you with two topics, two pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. You can watch this show live every Monday afternoon at twitch.tv/2pennygames, where you can put in your own 2 cents live as we record, or if you can't catch us live, watch the episode on youtube.com/@2pennygames or mainstream podcast services every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time. Of course, our goal here is to always elevate the conversation. So if you have your own 2 cents on a topic we cover, we don't cover, or just something about gaming culture you wish was better, drop those thoughts down into the comments below, and we will be back next week to reply to your own 2 pennies. Much like on our Dark Souls 2, the best game of all time, is Dark Souls 2 the best game of all time video. This is, of course, your breakout where we rank Dark Souls 2 in the game club. Licks Slump says, and this is a long one, ladies and gentlemen. He had a lot to say. People shit on Dark Souls 2 because they compare them to the other Dark Souls, not made by the same director. One of the directors of DS2 had to leave in the middle of development, and the team that worked on the game was a new team that never worked in that type of games. Moreover, they had a lack of clear communication about how to interconnect their layouts coherently. It's normal to do bad things in a game when the behavior is negligent per se. DS1, there's a couple of spelling errors here, but that's okay. DS1 only had a good first half and okay DLC. Okay DLC. All right, let's relax here.
The Dark Souls 1?
Yeah.
It was good DLC.
It was good DLC.
Yeah, it was very good.
It was good. DS2 was a mess in layout, though innovative and well-executed combat. I got a problem with that. We'll get back to that in a second. DS3, Connor, you have to talk to this, had a horrible start and great late... I assume he means great late game.
Yeah.
Terrible start, Dark Souls 3?
No.
Okay. I can go on, but the point stands. People trash on DS2 because they compare it to the product made by other people with more experience instead of just rating it as it is a standalone release. Well, sir, it's not a standalone release. It's Dark Souls 2.
I understand your points on the development side of things, but at the end of the day, what matters as far as talking about the game itself is the final product. And in spite of all of those issues it had, they could have worked it out, basically. So gamers, I know this sounds kind of stupid, especially because of how we talk about video games, but the average gamer shouldn't have to curb their own expectations and critiques about a game because of what happened on the development side of things. That's something that should be planned out when the game's being made to make a better final product.
I mean, we on the consumer side can talk about it and come to an understanding as to why the final product is what it is, but that doesn't mean that the final product the rating doesn't change.
Yeah,
the review doesn't change. The game is still messy.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least.
And I think it's telling on the design abilities of From Software to, even in spite of those problems, some might say it's not a good game, but
I would say that.
Yeah, but still making a good game, still making at least what you would admit is a very functional game.
You can get to the end. You can get to the end with minimal problems.
Minimal problems, exactly. And then they enhanced it through the Scholar of the First Sin edition with great DLCs. I understand he's probably
the internet's been clowning you on this Scholar of the First Sin edition.
Maybe they do. At the same time, these are the same ones who say that Dark Souls 3 is not good. Which you've seen those people.
I've seen those people as well.
And what do they matter? What words? They don't know what they're talking about.
What I've learned in our journey of our Dark Souls reviews is there is not a consensus.
Which is what's so fun. It's why it's such a toxic community.
Oh, it's toxic.
In reality, it's just people need to have a stronger will to survive in the community. And anyone who doesn't is just a whiner, like you.
To get back to Slump's comment here, I am going to push back on well-executed combat. As we talked about in the review, I don't believe the combat is well-executed in Dark Souls 2. I mean, I haven't said it very overtly, but I don't think combat's that good in any of the 3 games we've played up to this point, being Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Dark Souls 2. I don't think combat's good in any of them. I think it's functional at best, right?
Yeah.
But Dark Souls 2 is the weakest of the 3 in that sense to me, because it is so easy to manipulate enemy AI. It is so easy to get bosses to spam the same move again and again, which allows you to bait and punish them to the point to where it's like, oh, I'm not outsmarting the AI. I'm just more capable than it. And that it feels like I'm beating up on a big toddler, and I'm just like, this just isn't engaging to me. So
it's one of the things that leads to people not really talking about the bosses of Dark Souls 2 being the highlight of the incredible bosses that show up in the entire franchise, which admittedly I don't think really starts getting into the heavy hitters until Dark Souls 3 and beyond, but that's just me. I mean, I've always enjoyed the combat system, but definitely Dark Souls 2, because of the fact that you can take advantage of it the most, is the biggest issue. A lot of people also complain about the tracking of the attacks and how it could be a little bit unfair, but I think you can actually adjust your own gameplay experience to make it work. Whereas with the taking advantage of the AI, you just kind of inherently do that just by engaging with them in combat. But I understand.
Again, this was another point that we noted on in the full review of Dark Souls 2, so please make sure you go and check that out. Of yes, you can adjust to almost any game, right? But there comes a point to where it's not on me to adjust. It's on you, the designer, the developer, to make it adjustable too. And I think they did a poor job of that in Dark Souls 2.
Well, all that I know is that we'll always have Dark Souls 2 shooters out here. I'll be one of them.
You'll be one of them.
Nothing will stop that.
You'll be one of them. Connor, we're going to move on to our first topic of the day. This is going to be my first penny of the day. DICE. The DICE Awards happened. We didn't watch them.
No. Not.
Well, to be fair, the DICE Awards happened the same day as the PlayStation State of Play. So, I mean, we could have watched them, but I didn't watch either of them live personally just because I had to work that day. You and Phil did a live reaction to the PlayStation State of Play, which will be our next topic here in a bit.
Talk about it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the DICE Awards didn't watch that. Because what's going to win? I wonder what's going to make up a large portion of the category.
Listen,
I still don't know, actually.
It's funny because, I have in the past critiqued the Game Awards for happening in early December, and I'm like, it's too early. Like, there's more games coming out. But then, the DICE Awards happen mid-February, and I go, oh, but I don't care anymore. I'm over it.
January's the sweet spot.
I think I probably agree.
And the fact that
early January.
Yeah, mid at the most. But even then, it's end
it should
January.
be the first. I know the whole industry closes down for the holidays. It should be the first thing that happens when we open back up.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that leads to me always when I was looking up which DICE Awards this was. I was like, is this 2025 DICE Awards or is it 2026? To make it easier on people. It's the 29th annual one, by the way. There's 29 of these guys. Really?
They've been doing them for a little while.
Long time.
Awards. So we're going to kind of go through them all, talk about how we feel about them. But this, I don't think will take too long or too much time here. So starting off, Outstanding Achievement in Animation. And we did go through the nominees for DICE, right? When they happened?
No, we did not. Because I remember when that happened,
we
were like, there were so many other things going on. And we just didn't bother doing that.
I thought we did. Anyways, Outstanding Achievement in Animation, South of Midnight won that one. Congratulations, South
Deserved
of
it,
Midnight.
too.
I like that. I like that. That's a good choice. Death Stranding 2 probably is in that conversation. If we talk about achievement in animation.
Yeah.
But I appreciate a South of Midnight winning over a Death Stranding 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just the difference in budgets. I mean, the way South of Midnight is in this conversation speaks volumes, right?
Whereas art direction, maybe Death Stranding should have won that one.
Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. They won that for Game Awards as well. I've disagreed with both of them. I don't love the art direction in Claire Obscure.
I like the art direction, but certainly when you consider the awards that have gone around, it's been giving it to Claire Obscure far too much. And honestly, the internet seems to agree. That seems to be the most often criticized
when you compare it
here.
against the other nominees, Death Stranding 2, Dispatch, Ghost of Yotei, The Midnight Walk, I think Claire, personally, for me, is the least deserving of those, you know?
Maybe Dispatch is a contender, but even then I might give it to Dispatch overall.
I probably would. But congratulations, Claire Obscure. Outstanding Achievement in Character, we have Ghost of Yotei. Atsu. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Could have gone, which is funny because for Claire Obscure, they were nominated twice, but not in the ways that you would think. It was Esquier or Mayel. Esquier being the mount mascot character of the game.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting pick, but I'm into that. Dispatch Courtney / Invisigal and Dispatch Robert Robertson III / Mecha Man. Great list of characters.
Yeah.
Great list of characters.
Especially because everyone's gone with Verso, Ben Starr's character.
I like the SKA pick. That's
Yeah.
fun. But congratulations, Atsu, and congratulations, Erika Ishii, for portraying that. Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition. Ghost of Yotei is the winner.
Surprising.
Against Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Hurdling, Mario Kart World, and Sword of the Sea. This is one that, this is one that could have gone to Claire, but didn't. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's surprising. Ghost, still good, still quite good. Not mad at that. But Claire Obscure, I just saw a headline today. Claire Obscure is beating Bad Bunny numbers.
Yeah, and that's what's weird because the art direction, you wouldn't think Claire Obscure would win that. But
yeah. Music,
this
I
one,
would, though.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
So
didn't win, but
that's pretty surprising. But congratulations. Outstanding Achievement in Audio Design. Do you hear crackling in my voice? I feel like I hear crackling. But
I don't
maybe
hear
I'm
your
just
voice.
being over. You don't hear my voice.
Oh, shit. I heard it before. Audio.
See, this would have been nice to know earlier. But
I heard you earlier.
Like when we started recording?
Yeah. And just got dead into it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Outstanding achievement in audio design. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach 1. I like that. Against Arc Raiders, Ghost of Yotei, Luminessa Rise, and Split Fiction. Death Stranding 2 had great audio design. Outstanding achievement in story. Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 1, of course. Consume Me, Despelote, South of Midnight, and The Drifter. I like that Claire Obscure won here. Outstanding technical achievement, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Congratulations to Death Stranding 2. I agree with that one as well.
Proper award.
In terms of like technical achievement, what Donkey Kong Bonanza did, it was impressive. You know, just with all of the destructible environments and how it was able to run on Switch 2. That was quite impressive. But Death Stranding 2, I mean, the pushing the technology is something that Kojima is always interested in, and Kojima Studios is always interested in, and they of course did it again with that lovely Decima engine in Death Stranding 2. Action game of the year, Hades 2 won.
What else?
Yeah, when you talk about action games, I don't see any other one that really is putting up a contention. Adventure game of the year, Ghost of Yotei won against Blueprints, Dispatch, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Hollow Knight Silksong. Not mad at that.
There's a lot to explore in that. It's the most open world out of all these games, so makes sense.
Sure, yeah. I mean that's not what an adventure game is, but I appreciate that we're at least like differentiating ourselves. But I get it, whatever. Family game of the year, Lego Party won. Fighting game of the year, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection won.
This is an American award show, after all.
Which was not the preferred collection out of the ones that were even nominated, with like Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Or wow, that's all right. So Racing game of the year, Mario Kart World won.
Like the one people were disappointed with, which I get it.
All right. I know you like to carry on with that narrative, and sure, Mario Kart World was disappointing, but it was still a really good game.
Oh, sure, but then I think of Kirby Air Riders, and that just seems like a better made racing game. From everything, I'm as someone who hasn't played either of them.
I was like, I don't know if you can just say that.
I got my finger on the pulse, buddy. I know what I'm talking about.
Not really. Role-playing game of the year, Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Wrong.
Go ahead, cry about your Kingdom Come again.
It's, in the same way, art direction shouldn't have been won by Claire Obscure. Same concept here.
It had more of a say in here, though.
Yeah, not compared to the other game.
I don't agree. Sports game of the year, Rematch won. Shout out to Rematch.
Hey, good on them.
Strategy/simulation game of the year, The Alters won. Congratulations to The Alters. Online game of the year, Arc Raiders won. Congratulations to Arc Raiders. So glad that the lazy game devs understood things better than the player's choice over at the Game Awards, you know?
Wait,
it's almost as if you fucking gamers on the internet don't know anything.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're making no sense, Tavin. In the Game Awards choice, it was kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh, you're making fun. Okay.
Yeah, because the players are stupid.
Wait, Arc Raiders got kicked out?
Yes.
That's a good thing.
You're having a different conversation than me. Immersive reality technical achievement, Hotel Infinity won. I don't know anything about that. Immersive reality game of the year, Ghost Town won.
You don't know about Ghost Town?
I don't know anything about that. Outstanding achievement for an independent game, Blueprints won. Shout out to Blueprints.
It won something.
Mobile game of the year, Persona 5, The Phantom X.
Yeah.
Outstanding achievement in game design, Blueprints once again, back to back. Congratulations, Blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding achievement in game direction, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 won. And then finally, game of the year as per the DICE Awards 2025. Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
So it's kind of the same.
Just pile it on. Just another one. Just another and another and another, you know?
That's what they do. Yeah, this is a nice... yeah,
sure.
The problem everyone criticized the Video Game Awards about kind of applies here to a degree, where a lot of the big categories were taken up by the same game, Claire Obscure. Yeah. Better. I think this is a better... In terms of the awards that were handed out, no.
I mean, it's more interesting.
I disagree.
Because they diversify.
Yeah.
You disagree what?
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 won... It won best... What it won? Did it win it?
I don't know what it won.
It won something. But no, never mind. The Video Game Awards, better.
This fucking guy. And you also name them wrong every time. DICE, of course, voted on by actual game developers, you know, so the people who are making the games and playing the games, not just, you know, the journalists or the media or the people, you know. It's people who allegedly know what they're doing. So it's always interesting to kind of see some of the differences here and what wins in comparison to the Game Awards and what doesn't win in comparison to the Game Awards. And I just always find it a little more interesting. This is like a closer list to of like a more like detailed
person who
pick.
plays more of the games almost. Blue Prince won a bunch, which didn't see he didn't win one award, but
it lost out to everything, which was unfortunate. So yeah, great for Blue Prince to get some. I think like the story of games of where you're like, oh man, I wish X game won. You know, I think is better represented at DICE. So I always really like DICE, and then of course hosted by Greg Miller and Stella Chung, as usual.
They did a great job.
I'm sure they did a great job. I didn't see any clips this year. Usually I see clips. Where were the clips?
Sounds like they didn't do a good job, Tavin.
DICE, your marketing needs to be better. Your marketing needs to be better, DICE.
I had forgotten about it when the award nominations were first announced, and then when you mentioned the DICE Awards happened, I was like, oh, I guess they happened. So here we are.
They did indeed. Connor, let's move on to topic number 2. This is going to be my second penny of the day. The PlayStation State of Play happened. PlayStation State of Play February 2026 happened. It was an hour long, an hour and I think 12 minutes. Yep, an hour and 12 minutes long. We got a lot of great looks at some first-party PlayStation Studios titles and then some third-party titles as well. You and Phil, as I said earlier, did a live reaction to that. You can find that reaction up on the channel now, so make sure you go check that out. I was unable to react, so I'm going to go ahead and give my impressions first here, Connor, because the people don't know what I feel about the PlayStation State of Play. I think it was pretty good, pretty dang good. You know, I think it was quite entertaining for the hour that it went on. I don't feel like it really dragged at any point. Maybe in the Konami section, just because they switched up the formula in that bit, but I thought that they had some really cool announcements. I thought they had some great surprises. And for the most part, they showed off some really, really great games. And even the games that maybe I'm not personally into that much, we kept the pace up. We were in and out pretty quickly. And yeah, by the end of it, I went, hey, that was an hour. It felt like an hour, but it didn't drag at any point. There was no point where I was like, okay, enough. Like, enough with this shit. It didn't have a 5-minute, here's all the anime games segment that we criticized the Nintendo Partner Direct having. So right now, I'm quite happy with this. I'm quite happy with the state of PlayStation in 2026, and I'm very, very excited to talk about everything that was shown here. But what did you think about the state of play?
Well, nothing here really blew my socks off. I wasn't mouth agape looking at some game that I didn't expect to be here. And that's not just because Bloodborne Remastered wasn't there. But aside from that, as you mentioned, it was consistently paced well. Konami was the part where it definitely dragged on, but even then, that's too strong of a word or term, because, yeah, it was one of the better state of plays out there. Even if it wasn't my particular cup of tea all the way through, it always had something to make my ears perk up and actually pay attention, and I never lost focus the entire time. And so these kinds of award ceremonies, even though I was, of course, watching it live and seeing the YouTube comments, the live chat section, they were not happy with it. But who cares? Because that's very common with these kinds of award shows.
YouTube chat's never happy. The live chat is never happy with it.
You know, when you cultivate all of the... Because at the end of it, it says, how would you rate this state of play? A, B, C, or D? Most people said D, but there were a lot of people in A, B, and C, where when you categorize all of them, definitely are way more people that enjoyed or at least were neutral on the state of play than had a problem with it.
I guess I just don't know what they were expecting.
That's kind of the issue where the live reactions always seem to have really, really high expectations, and then as time passes, or maybe the people that don't watch it live and spend time, you know, in this case an hour, watching a show, they're a lot more fine with, you know, having 1 or 2 or 3 things they care about, as opposed to watching it live and only seeing one of those things in a live showing. So I think I think the expectations of people that tune in are always way higher than what the reality is. And so you get a skewed
I think it's just the internet and people want to be negative.
That too.
I also don't believe half of them are real people, but you know.
that is very likely as well. But yeah, it was a good show.
I liked it. Let's get into everything that was shown off and announced. We had a first announcement from a PlayStation Studios game, Ember Labs. I didn't realize Ember Lab was acquired by PlayStation. So that was... I guess I missed that or forgotten that over time or something like that. But
I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it was after the game released.
It must have been, right? Kena, Scars of Cosmora, which is a sequel to Kena Bridge of Spirits, which came out 2022. 22? 21?
It says it right there.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay, yeah. Follow up to 2021 Bridge of Spirits. I played Bridge of Spirits probably maybe a quarter to half of it. It was enjoyable. It was a good time, but definitely this is a first-time studio game. And they, infamously come from a animation studio, and you can see that in Kena. It's beautiful. I think once again, this looks beautiful. It looks very much like a sequel, like another one, but it does look like they are adding some gameplay functionality in there to kind of spice things up, make it a little different, give it a little bit more of its own personality. It seems to me that they are kind of beefing up their storytelling a little bit, which was solid the first time around, but could have been a little bit more. It looks like they are reaching for a little bit more, and so I am excited to see more from it. I'm excited to check it out, and I'm wondering if it will inspire me to double back and finish Bridge of Spirits. I don't think it will, and if it continues on this pace, and if it lands on a good day, I will be playing it. Coming to PS5 and PC 2026. Connor, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, not having played the first Kena game and looking at it from a third-person perspective, it always looked beautiful, but definitely gameplay-wise, it seemed like I have other games I'd rather play, and that's, of course, factored into my own tastes. But this one, it seems like it has a lot more going for it on the gameplay side of things. Phil, when I was reacting to it with him live on the show, said that there wasn't like any other characters in the narrative in the first one, and this one seems to be in a whole entire community. So usually when you add more human elements to it, human characters in it, you can be a bit more exciting with where you take your narrative. So not really having an insight into the first game, this looked very quality.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was like I don't know. I'm struggling to really put a grade on it, but I want to say it was like a B- in terms of an action game, like, and how the action felt and what it played like. Like, it certainly wasn't bad, but there was some definite like stiffness to it, some friction with what the player, wanted to do and what the animations would allow me to do. And so I'm hopeful that they're able to kind of clean this up. Moving on, Ghost of Yotei Legends. First expansion to 2025's Ghost of Yotei is coming. DLC launches March 10th as a free download for owners of the game. Very excited. This is they've upped the number of players. It's gone from 3 to 4.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
We were under the impression
it was 3 players, right?
Back it was,
yeah.
I remember when we knew this was coming, because this is the first trailer, but we already got confirmed that it was coming. I thought it was going to be running up on the same issue we faced, where it was only 2 of us in a 3-player game. So I'm kind of disappointed they raised it to 4.
Now that we have 3, now it's 4. You're right. But I think it makes a lot more sense now because Ghost of Yotei was more weapons-based as opposed to stance-based.
Yeah.
In Legends for Tsushima, I think they started to stretch a little thin on their differences between character classes. I think with the weapons, they're allowed to diversify even more now. So I think that's really solid for a 4th slot to now happen and for everyone to have different things. I of course love all of the different like special things going on with it, the supernatural elements of Legends, which is kind of where I wish the main games would kind of go in that direction, but they're keeping it just to the Legends part of it. This is, of course, sort of like a mythic retelling of the main narrative, but through word of mouth, people don't believe that the ghost is a single individual and that it's a group of people, which is always a real fun thing. I think it looks fun. I think it looks good. I'm excited to jump in on March 10th and play some. And it also looks like we are expanding on the amount of content where we are actually going through and taking down the Yotei 6 again, but these are more supernatural versions of them, fantasized versions of them. And then, of course, the look of it is quite different. I could do a Ghost Legends game. You could make one of those on its own, and I would love it. But I also really appreciate that they are taking a multiplayer mode and putting a little, it's not tacked on like we used to get back in the day with these types of games. It is like, hey, we are fleshing this out and really making it its own thing and adding its own visual panache to it. And Ghost of Yotei Legends, can't wait. I didn't beat Ghost of Yotei. I don't intend to double back and finish my playthrough of Yotei, but I am very excited to jump into Legends and play with you guys.
It's very satisfying because it's also free, which is a continuation of what they did with the first Legends mode. And, in this day and age, you could charge something for it, but the fact that they choose not to is very nice. I always respect them for that.
Especially this time around where there's clearly, to me at least, clearly much more content this time.
There is, yeah. They could have even more so justified it in this in this different scenario. But we'll be jumping on it pretty soon here, so we'll actually be able to let you know if it's worth anybody's time.
March 10th. Very exciting. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach is coming to PC, launching March 19th, and it's got a whole bunch of little PC things, uncapped frame rates, DualSense controller support, widescreen support. So if you're a PC player and you want to jump into Death Stranding 2, here is your chance. Here we go with probably the worst game presented at the State of Play, in my personal opinion, For Loop. This is from Mike Booth and Bad Robot Games. This is a play test is coming in the near future. This is the multiplayer game where you're jumping in with a crew and you're scavenging things and helping each other out, and it looks so fucking generic. Like it reeks of Suicide Squad. It reeks of like an even more basic Outriders. And yeah, I'm just not into For Loop really at all. Like I to me, like I've never seen a more like why would anybody play this game in a while.
Yeah, my issue is this. There's something called the probability map, and it changes how these runs go. That seemed to be the most interesting thing here, that there is something beyond the genericism that you just mentioned. But the fact that the gunplay just doesn't seem very punchy. You know, I remember I told this on the reactions video. It reminds me of Helldivers, because in just the way the characters move and the way they wield a gun. But I would way rather jump into Helldivers than this. It just seems much more chaotic and fun to play moment to moment, where this one, it just seems uninspired.
We need to have a conversation about how an exosuit is never cool. Like, exosuits never look dope.
It can be. It's just I see exosuit rather than power suit.
Yeah, no, a power suit would look great, but yeah, just this like little exoskeleton thing, like that never looks cool. And so it ends up putting visual noise on your characters so they don't look the way you want them to look, and like it's just not cool. Like I would rather these be like superpowered people, or you know, this is just something naturally, or you just explain it away with, yeah, we're just a video game and they have abilities and they have, or give them power suits that are customizable in a way. Like this just looks like people in t-shirts and khaki pants with an exoskeleton on, and I'm like, it's just boring. And then there's a lot of purple, there's a lot of things like I've seen this before. This feels like something ripped out of the Xbox 360 generation. Like I'm cool. Hard pass. Hard pass. Coming from the guy who enjoyed Concord and Highguard, you know, like where I'm like, all right, no, absolutely not. Pragmata had another story trailer, kind of showing off some of the more open-ish areas, the derelict city that you're going to be exploring, and you know, more story bits to be going. I think this is probably the most open look at the game that we've seen so far, where like a lot of the early marketing, it was a lot of like spaceships and satellites and things like that, where you're just kind of exploring that. And then they did show that there is other environments, and then now they've kind of like shown like, here's what is essentially New York City, but it's all fucked up and digitized and glitched out and stuff. Pragmata looks better every time we see it.
It does. We've definitely seen it a lot. I remember we would only see it every now and then. But
we've seen it a lot.
All of a sudden, they just started ramping up that market.
Hey, this game is coming. April 24th.
It's almost like they really want this to succeed. Like, bad things will happen if it doesn't. I think it's gotten enough people's attention that it'll do well financially. I'm just more interested to see, is this game fun?
Is it good?
Yeah. You know, it looks good, but it also, you know, it's definitely one of those games you really want to get hands on it to know that, as opposed to just seeing it and knowing immediately you would like it.
I think it really all comes down to, because the gameplay looks like different and unique, and it could fall under, oh man, this is either like really stiff and kind of clunky, or it could be like, oh no, this is actually like a really cool way to interface with the game. But I think it really comes down to that story and that character journey that they're selling us with the playable character and this little girl whose name I've forgotten.
The
android girl or whatever. Yeah. So like I think it really comes down to that. But I think the character designs are quite unique. I think, you know, as kind of like generic as the suit of armor that you're wearing kind of could look, I think it does have its own unique silhouette. And I think the enemy designs are really, really cool. So yeah, I'm still sold on Pragmata. I'm really willing to try it, but I'm hopeful that it's going to be one of my favorites of the year, but we'll have to wait and see. something that I am convinced is going to be one of my favorites of the year is Resident Evil Requiem.
So wishy-washy on this. You went from like, I don't know if I really like it.
I think my arc has
looks
been
great.
perfectly trackable. I think you could perfectly track my arc where I said I said the trailer at the Game Awards was the one that sold me, and I went, yep, I'm in.
That's true. It's just the problem is you should have known from the get-go, the first time this was announced, it was going to be a nice return to form to the Resident Evil franchise we know and love.
I don't know if it is return to form in terms of what. Like, are we saying Village is not in the form of Resident Evil?
Yes, in terms to form of the remakes, like continuing on from what they've designed.
Yeah,
with those ones.
I appreciate that they've kind of.
And blended the two.
This game certainly makes it feel like the remakes are the canon story now.
Yeah.
You know, or at least this is what the visual language that we're going off of. But yeah, I'm very excited for Resident Evil Requiem. This was a great story trailer. I think the last one at the Game Awards did a good job of being like, oh, you're hyped for Leon. I think this one did a good job of you're hyped for both of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am interested who Grace is. I am interested to find her story and what makes her so special in this world. I think Leon being infected again is a little bit like, really? Again? All right.
Well, we don't know. We don't know what's going on there, Tavin.
We don't. But, like, again?
When was the other one that he was really in? Like, it was a big thing?
4.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But that kind of turned out to be not as...
And, like, just becoming infected is, like, a big deal in these Resident Evil games anyway. Like, it happened to Jill.
3, yeah.
I guess it didn't happen to Chris. But, you know, like, it's just been a bunch
Too
of,
cool.
like... It probably happened to Claire at some point in one of her games. I don't know.
I think it did, actually. Maybe.
Or someone around Claire is infected.
No, I think she was put in, like, a prison-type situation where, like, it was...
Well, I guess
it was an exploding collar.
the girl... Sherry Birkin got infected in 2, and that was Claire's job to heal her and
true.
cure her, you know? So, yeah, it's just messy. But the actual confirmation of, yes, you will be returning to the Raccoon City Police Department, yeah.
We didn't need confirmation.
We knew it was going to happen, you know?
I assumed it was already, like, like, the understanding was we were going to go back there. So when they showed it, I was like, oh, this is the first time we're actually seeing
And then,
we're
of course,
going back.
there's that big monstrous character who looks like Lisa Trevor, and then they showed a shot of, like, oh, we killed her. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, she getting back up. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited for Resident Evil Requiem, February 27th, right around the corner. People are surprised that there's no demo, which, to be fair, they've had a demo for every Resident Evil game for a while now.
They have.
And so, yeah, it is kind of surprising that we're not doing it this time, but I kind of like that they're not doing it. Legacy of Clan... Let me take that again. Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. PS4, PS5 on March 3rd. It's going to have a whole HD graphics, 3D camera. Something that I thought was really cool is that they put in a photo mode into a game that didn't have photo mode. That's pretty impressive. And you're like able to like break the camera and move it around and stuff. That's pretty cool for how old this game is. You know, you're looking at what is it, 2004?
Early 2000s.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, that looks neat for Legacy of Kain fans. I've never played a Legacy of Kain game in my life. Never had the interest. They've got different skins and outfits that you can wear. They've put all the bells and whistles on this, so it looks like a solid package for people who would be fans of this.
I've always had a great interest in Legacy of Kain for a couple of years now because a lot of from what I've heard is that it's one of the better games of its era, but one of the more slept-on ones as well. Because you don't really hear a lot of people talk about Legacy of Kain that much. So, you should try it out sometime.
Maybe. Dead or Alive, new update to the latest Dead or Alive game, Dead or Alive 6 Last Round, was revealed. The updated version will include photo mode, upscaled visuals, and a free-to-play version for those who wish to try it. Anything to say about Dead or Alive? And then, of course, they announced there's a new Dead or Alive project in the works.
And that's what I'm interested in, because that's, again, a fighting game when people think of the most premier ones out there. Dead or Alive doesn't really come to mind. More so, Women in Bikinis does, and playing beach volleyball. But I've heard they're good fighting games, and that might be a good way for me to jump onto it.
It's not in this run-up. Maybe it's in, is it, Brigadine Abyss. It's like a cool, like, little JRPG-looking game.
Tactics RPG
coming in. Looked neat.
It looked kind of...
It looked a little basic.
It did. Basic and not really good design of just how the sprites looked, the characters on the field.
It didn't capture my interest. This is definitely one that, like, I looked at and went, oh, okay. And then I'm going to forget about it pretty quickly. Yeah. You know? But moving on. Is there another one? Oh, now we're at the Dead or
Yeah.
Alive thing. That's what got skipped. Okay, I see. So we're gonna move through the Dead or Alive. Of course, I have the thing up for the state of play playing on the side here. Anyways, Control Resonant had a little bit of a meaty trailer here, showing off some gameplay, showing off some moving through the open-ish world that they've been advertising. Little looks at different boss fights and some of the different weapons and so forth. Maybe it's just because my hands are not on sticks. This Control Resonant little gameplay showcase didn't sell me. It didn't look as solid or as like free flowing or fun as Control did to me. Maybe it's just because of my memory of Control versus where we are in this little slice that they've presented for us. Who knows how deep into the game that is? It looks fairly deep to me with the number of weapons that are being showcased and all of the different like navigational things that are things like a lot of like flipping the world sideways and upside down and stuff so that you can like change gravity and like attach to a different wall and so forth. All of that looks very Control. It looks like a Control game for sure. I'm curious as to how it's going to feel to play. Because that was a big plus I had for the first Control is that the gameplay and the game feels so good. And then this one doesn't look as good to me. But it might just because my hands are not on sticks.
It could be, because when I've been playing Control, I haven't played it in a bit now, but I played it recently, and basing it off of that, again, I hadn't gotten too far to where a lot of those crazy powers like float start coming into play. Yeah. So that's my biggest blind spot with comparing it to the first Control. So I thought the gameplay looked fine enough. My issue was with some of the writing that we were seeing, or the dialogue, just where people have probably seen it online, but someone did some joke video making fun of playing as a character in some kind of action game, having somebody in your radio.
Was not a joke. They were very serious.
Well, it's a joke, but
no, we made fun of it. That's what turned it into a joke. But it was a this is what Mario should be type thing.
Oh, was it one of those things?
Yes,
I thought it was.
It was one of these. It was one of those like AI artists who are like, oh, look how much better this could be.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, God damn.
Oh, we're gonna take the kiddiness off of this. Yeah, like that was the tone, and then the whole internet made fun of them
because it kind of called out a lot of those games that have that same kind of function where you're having the person in your ear and you're conversing with them, and it just comes off as very not just surface level. That's one thing, but it's also just like I got him, M, or like having some nickname for the person you're talking about, commenting on like a lot of things you're doing. You don't need that, especially with the first Control game where you're not if you're getting constantly words spattered into your headphones, it's because some guy who died at the beginning of the game is talking in your ear saying mystic stuff.
Control was a much more there was a lot more solitude in Control. It was Jussie Faden on her own for a lot of it, right? Meeting
with people throughout, but
yes, and you would come back and meet those people again, but throughout the journey it would be very quiet. I think because this game is so much more open and there's more HUD on the screen, like there's more go here, waypoints, things like that. I think that is in an attempt to sort of guide the player. I think there's going to be a lot more side quests and side content in this game. Like the demo they showed to me did not read main content. It read, this is you exploring and attacking things and fighting random enemies and so forth. Like it was not as much of a curated combat sequence until they cut to boss fights later in and like flash cut between them. So, but we'll see. Control, do we have a date? No, we don't.
We do not.
So Control Resonant said to be this year. Said to be. We'll see. Next up, Crimson Moon from
baby.
Probably Monsters is a third-person action game where players take on the role of a half-man, half-angel knight tasked with fighting horrific demons. Crimson Moon is set to release in 2026. This is the co-op game, right?
Yes.
Yes.
At least it seemed like it was another player co-op.
That's a co-op game for sure. I was trying to judge if it was just two players, and it does seem to just be two players. Looked okay. Looked neat. Looked like oh, hey, this would be cool for a week, type of a game.
See, Tavin, I said some things maybe perk my ears up.
You're insane. I knew it would, but you're insane.
Phil was the same way. He was like, oh, shit, this is badass. This was, it's surprising. Really? It came out of nowhere. And at first it was like, okay, this seems like a classic Souls-like game that are really popular nowadays. But then they started doing a lot more crazier
I feel like we
moves.
got like 100 of these before Dark Souls became a thing. Of like here's a co-op game where you're playing as like like weird angel knights and you're fighting together and fighting monsters and stuff. Like I feel like there were 1,000 of these in the 6th generation.
Well,
Like,
it's just the fact that this seems like at the core of it plays, at least at the beginning parts of this little trailer.
it looks
like you
better
play
than
like a Dark
it
Souls
looks
character.
better than most of those ever played. Yeah, for sure.
So I think we're sitting on something good here.
I like the art style.
art style's very cool.
A little cartoony-ish to it, a little fable-y, if you will, like sort of like a darker fable. And combat looks solid.
It does.
I think this is going to be a real, hey, that was a good time. I enjoyed myself.
Sometimes that's all you need for a game.
You know,
At the least.
sometimes it is. Beast of Reincarnation had another trailer here. They're just covering all of their, they're just covering all of their bases here. We're coming out. We're here for Xbox. We're here for PlayStation. You know, we got another story trailer going on. Looks good. I've got nothing more to add on Beast of Reincarnation. Excuse me, than what we had to say at the Xbox _Direct.
Only thing I would have to say, and I probably said it when we were responding to that, this is Game Freak's moment. Will they be assigned to making Pokemon games till the end of time, or will they be able to branch out to more games?
I mean, yes, they will be assigned to making Pokemon games.
Only Pokemon games, though. That's what's different here. Of course, they'll always do that.
All the real budget goes here.
Yeah.
August 4th, that one's coming around. I'm interested to check it out.
Yep.
Next up, we had a Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition marketed as a digital museum where you could play different Rayman games and different versions of Rayman games that never hit the public, which is neat. Cool for people who like Rayman. Very interested to see how that's going to be received. I personally will not be partaking, but cool. I like these things. I'm just waiting for them to do it with an IP that I care about.
Well, maybe we will play Rayman in our game club at some point.
At some point, probably.
So maybe that's the point. We'll be like, oh shit, this
we'll get
franchise.
Mina the Hollower, Yacht Club's next major adventure. Mina the Hollower made an appearance afterward as a PS5 exclusive demo was confirmed to launch. You can play that now. The release window was also updated to spring 2026. How do we not have a date for this game yet? This was supposed to come out last year, and then they just put out like okay, we need a few more weeks, but we're not exactly sure how much more time. And now spring, just a random spring? Where is this game, Yacht Club? What is going on over there? I'll say this was the best gameplay demo that I've seen so far, though. This is the best trailer that they've shown me so far, personally.
For Mina the Hollower or in general?
For Mina.
Okay, yeah, because this is the only time I've been like, oh, that's what Mina the Hollower is.
That's what the point of this thing is, you know?
It looked very, very fucking cool.
I mean, this looks like how it looks, but for some reason it just sold me here. And now I'm sold on the Game Boy aesthetic of the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see. This one sold me on the vision more than any other trailer that we've gotten in the past. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the way they cut it. I don't know, but
it was that tower sequence.
I'm now quite interested in Mina the Hollower. I mean, I was always interested, but now I'm more interested. Neva Prologue, a new prologue chapter to Nomada Studios' 2024 indie hit Neva, was confirmed for launch on February 19th. The base game will be required to play this new prologue. Just a little update, little cool update that you can play more Neva if you like the Neva.
This is also a game where I thought to myself, so that's what this game looks like.
No,
cool.
You knew it Neva. You just forgot over the years.
I knew what it looked like visually, but gameplay-wise, I never really saw something as deep as this.
No, it's just that's more. I think you just forgot.
It looks cool.
That's just Neva. You know, Yako Shinobi Ops. Yako Shinobi Ops made its debut. This is launched in 2027. It's an isometric view of a little stealth sim game where you play some ninjas. This is a 4-player co-op game from all I could tell. Looked okay.
I think this is definitely a game where we can play it and have a lot of fun together. Me and Phil.
It looked okay. It looked a little stiff. It looked a little kind of whatever. So we'll see. I'll wait for more impressions and more footage and so forth. But this trailer was just kind of okay to me.
I really enjoyed the part of the trailer where you're just hunting down normal random soldiers. Then all of a sudden it's just massive tonal shift.
Right.
Being chased by these horrible looking monsters.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed all of the actual stealth elements. I think when it starts getting into harder combat, that's when I was like, okay, all right, this is a little janky for my personal taste. But I would like to see more of these types of games. I miss isometric stealth games. And I kind of like what they're doing with sort of like the line of sight mechanics that they got going on that affects the players, not just the guards and so forth. And some of the animations do look cool and brutal and cinematic in really cool and interesting ways. But yeah, it's just that game feel question that I have on how it actually feels to play. So yeah, color me morbidly curious. Next up, speaking of morbidly curious, Project Windless. Crafton Montreal studio unveiled its newest project, a third-person action game called Project Windless. Players will control a dual-wielding warrior chicken as he hacks and slashes through hordes of enemies. Very much in that Dynasty Warriors kind of thing. It looked a little bit more intense than a Dynasty Warriors, like in terms of like mechanics.
Not cutting through like hordes of people with no effort.
Yeah, a little more of like still the hordes of people, but like, oh, this enemy you'll have to pay attention to, like, and you'll have to actually fight him, and then the hordes will maybe get in the way of that and so forth. And yeah, you're playing as a big chicken.
This looks fucking cool. I don't know about you,
guess, man. I don't know. This was very like, oh, this is in the style of the Wukong games and so forth. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, here's another one.
To a degree, but I just see this as taking on a very different direction than Wukong. More about those Dynasty Warriors.
I don't know about very different direction, but sure, a different direction.
Like this is whereas Wukong was clearly trying to taking a lot of inspiration from the Souls franchise. This one seems to be taking more inspiration from the Dynasty Warriors franchise, but both able to still be their own thing. This being,
I guess
honestly, more of its
they just
own
look
thing.
like they have the same feel to them, to me, and it's just like a lot of flash on the screen. Like we're jingling a lot of keys in front of your face here to make the gameplay look more interesting than it is. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong.
You'll be proven wrong.
Next, something that this got me pretty amped, Connor. I'm not gonna lie.
I wonder why.
This got me pretty amped. Star Wars Galactic Racer had a new trailer, and they showed off a lot of really cool stuff, some cool maps, cool different racing moments, and some neat story moments, some good story. I love the moment where there's the one guy who's like, "Man, fuck you, and if these guys weren't holding me back, I'd beat your ass," and they're not holding him back. And I'm like, all right, that's a great character moment. All right, I'm saying, man, like the trailer that they showed at the Game Awards was like, all right, cool, we'll see. But then like they gave their press release on like their pitch of the game, and I was like, oh wait, no, this sounds dope as fuck. And this trailer continues on that path of like, this game looks dope as fuck. Like,
this is
like,
definitely
this
what
looks like it's
going
gonna be a lot of fun.
Again, I'm repeating what I said in the aftermath of the live reaction, but whereas it seemed when this game first showed up, it was like, oh, this is a Star Wars racing game, pod racing game. And that was what was trying to sell people on it because it's Star Wars, it's so major. People always like the pod racing element of it.
It's technically not pod racing, but...
Technically not, but that's kind of how it showed off itself to get people's eyes attached to it. This is where
they showed pod racers at the end, but
they did. Yeah. But this is the first time I'm like, holy shit, this game looks fucking awesome.
It looks fucking awesome.
So
yeah, I'm sold. I'm in. Yeah, put me in. And not just because I think it looks like a good racing game. Like it looks like a fun
sells it.
game.
Yeah.
Allegedly coming 2026. We'll see.
We got Ben back in. Ben, you don't know Ben?
Ben?
The guy it shows at the end, the guy from the first. His
name
is Ben. I can't pronounce the last name.
I don't know his name. 007 First Light had another story trailer. May 27th. I'll say I don't need any more from this game, but I will say this was the best story trailer that they've shown so far.
Yeah.
Like if I had only seen this trailer, I'd be like, oh wait, what is this? Like a little Uncharted style 007 game. I'm totally in. But I've seen gameplay demo and I went, all right, we'll see.
You know what? I understand because of that gameplay demo, people are not giving this the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say it now. I'm not going to put it on my fantasy critic or anything like that. This is going to do good. It's going to be good. They're going to have cleaned up what we saw at that original showcase. And because they did show it in the form it was, and it wasn't the best. That's honesty. And then people criticized it, and I see them as going, okay, let's fix that and that.
But we haven't had like a major delay to fix these things.
But it was always a bit ways out since we last saw it at that showcase.
Okay.
Like, this could have all been planned, knowing they were going to have some criticism because I have a hard time believing they didn't see the jank that the game has going on for it.
They must have known.
So this is all way more smarter than anything you'd be able to do, Tavin.
Okay.
Because you're thin-skinned as you are. Wouldn't be able to take the insults that were thrown at your game and then turn that into constructive criticism.
Me?
You would just react negatively, emotionally, the pathetic man that you are. Yeah.
So unnecessary. Just guns blazing at me for no reason. And then now for the next bit, which they kind of like segmented it off as their own thing. And I kind of enjoyed that they segmented it off because this was like them establishing of like, hey guys, Konami's back and we're making video games again. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
Having other people make
Konami's got, and they're letting other people make the games for them too, right? Konami's got a treasure trove of IP that people love and care about. Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, most notably, right? But you've also got things like Castlevania, which is very, very important. Contra, a bunch of other IPs that Konami's just been hanging on to and holding on to for no reason and doing nothing with, right? And they've been slowly re-entering the space. You know, we got Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. They did a remake with Virtuous Studios, I think,
Virtuous.
right? Is that right? With Delta of Snake Eater. And they've done the Silent Hill 2 remake with Blooper Team. They're doing a Silent Hill 1 remake with Blooper Team. Very excited for that. And then there's been some other Silent Hill outings throughout, and we're going to talk about another one here in a second, right? So I enjoyed that they like said, all right, slow down, guys. Konami's back, and they're back making real video games, and it's official. Like we can start considering Konami a legitimate publisher again. And that excites me because I love Konami IPs, right? And they kicked this whole segment off with the announcement of Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2. And I lost my shit for about 2 seconds. And then they showed me the full package of what is in Master Collection Volume 2. And it's Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. Very exciting. Very happy to see that game off the PlayStation 3. And Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which is one of my favorite Metal Gear Solid games. So you got me. I'm in. That is what I needed from a Master Collection Volume 2.
Minimum.
But that's really it. I mean, also at the end, they tacked on Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, which is neat. All right. It's another like Solid Snake story. I was wrong about what I told you off mic. I was not correct about that. But yeah, it's another Solid Snake story. I believe after the events of Metal Gear Solid 1, but I could be incorrect about that as well. And listen, I'm excited. Thank God it's here. I've been wanting it. I've been wanting a reason to play Metal Gear Solid 4, not on my PlayStation 3. I've been wanting a reason to play Peace Walker again. Here I have it. I have the opportunity to play co-op, both 2 to 4 player co-ops with you and Phil and some other friends, and then also a versus mode in Peace Walker. That's so exciting, right? I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to be able to try Ghost Babel. That's a game I've never played before as a Metal Gear Solid fan. I'm excited to try that out, check it out, see what that's about. Past that, guys, can we be honest as Metal Gear Solid fans? This is a disappointing package.
You got the weakest Metal Gear Solid mainline game, and then Peace Walker,
which is great, but a PSP game, you know, and Ghost Babel, which is that people have good things to say about, but it's a Game Boy game, you know? And, like, guys, like, just line the packages up, Volume 1 and Volume 2. You had the 3 mainline games, the best of the series, 1, 2, 3 right there, right? But you also got Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So that's 5 mainline games. Of course, the first 2 games not as beloved as the other 3, but that's 5 mainline games on new hardware that you can play all in one package, right? And then I, of course, criticized that the packaging of Volume 1 wasn't fantastic, but I'm just glad that I have the games, right? And now, Volume 2, we've been predicting and hoping and guessing what is going to be in this package for 2 years now, or close to 2 years now. And we figured, yes, MGS4, we assumed Peace Walker as well, right? But there was a third title in there that we assumed was going to be there, and it's just not here. We thought maybe Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, the remake. We thought maybe Phantom Pain, just a re-release of that, which would have been lame.
But it's a volume collection.
It would finish out Volume 2 as a here is the entire Metal Gear Solid saga that you can play, right? And it's right here. And then when MG 1 and 2 were in that, I was like, oh, and then there's going to be like bonus things. I think Ghost Babel fills that role. I would have liked another one, a Metal Gear Acid maybe, or anything like that. But just 4 and just Peace Walker, all right, cool. You know, Peace Walker is a top 3 Metal Gear Solid game for me, right? 4 is a top 1 for some people. Y'all are fucking crazy, but it's up there, right? It's a beloved game in the franchise by some people. I don't see how we look at this package and go, yes, this is a value. Like, yes, this is. It's not even of the same value of the last game. Again, we had 5 mainline titles, and now we've got 2 and a fun little bonus game.
And how much is this going to cost? Same amount?
Yeah, $30-$40.
Yeah,
same amount. I'm just like, Now, granted, there's a lot more runtime in MGS4 and specifically Peace Walker. Peace Walker's got a much longer runtime. But Peace Walker also has been on other consoles and is not as hard to get off. And I'm sure it took a lot of work to get MGS4 to run on a PlayStation 5. And so I don't want to come off as like a snooty fan who it's just not good enough for me. No, I'm glad this is here. I'm going to buy it day one. I'm going to play both of these games again, and I'm very excited to do so. But, let's call a spade a spade. This is not the same value that we got with Volume 1. And even Volume 1 has been pretty heavily criticized as not being a perfect remaster collection.
Brings back to mind the dark days of Konami, where they were charging...
No.
It does. It definitely does.
The dark days? Connor, you don't know what the dark days were.
I understand, but it's like cash-grabby actions.
Listen.
Not as bad because it's an isolated thing, but it's on the same level of stuff.
They're not tied to a pachinko machine, Connor. Remember the pachinko machines?
See,
I'm not letting you get away with this.
No.
I'm not letting you get away with that.
You're thinking of the worst of the worst of the worst, rather than all of the things that were collectively making it the worst. Even things that, there's satisfactory things about this, but it's clearly a cash grab with how much they're putting in here, as opposed to the first one where it was like a love letter to the Metal Gear franchise.
I mean, I don't agree. I think this is just we because we called the first one Volume 1, we needed to do a Volume 2, and here you go. Now, if they do a Volume 3, and Volume 3 has all of the extra games that I want, where the fuck is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance? That would have been a perfect game to slide that one right in there, right? The non-canon sequel to MGS4.
There's things you could have done.
There's things you could have done. You just could have given us just a speck more. I don't believe Revengeance would have been that hard to put in here. You know why? Because Revengeance is on PC. And it was on Xbox 360. And sure, it was on PS3. But, get that game on modern consoles as well. That would have been a fine addition of, here's your big 3, of Guns of the Patriots, Peace Walker, Revengeance. I would have even taken Phantom Pain and been like, all right, well, at least it's 3 games, bare minimum, and I would have said, hey, this is bare minimum. But this is also wow, this is bare fucking minimum. This is skin and bones minimum. Oh my God, it's almost not worth it minimum. Anyways, all of that to say, they're doing another update for Volume 1 to kind of add an HD resolution on MGS1 and MGS3. That's very exciting. Very excited to load up Volume 1 and have that again. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is 50% off on sale right now. If you haven't played that, you should probably play it because it's pretty solid. And then there's this game. Talk about this game, Connor.
Yeah, Octopus. Octopus Paradox? Yeah. Is that what it is? Paradox Octopus. Yeah, it looked like Inside. That really dark game.
Darwin's Paradox.
Darwin's Paradox, yes. You play as an octopus, running around, hiding from weird fucking things in a military compound. I have no clue what to expect from this game.
Me neither.
Other than the fact, like I said, it looked like Inside, which that game was apparently amazing.
I mean,
Limbo, that kind of style of game.
A little bit. I get Oddworld from it a lot. I get a lot of Oddworld.
Well, they're kind of all the same type of game when you think about it.
That's a stretch, but okay. You need to play more 2D games.
I guess
you need to play a lot more 2D games.
It just doesn't seem as it seems more situation based rather than a lot of just normal platforming, which is what a lot of 2D games usually end up doing.
You need to play a lot more 2D games, buddy. It is a detrimental blind spot in your catalog.
I agree, but this one definitely doesn't it bleeds into those specific 2D platformers rather than all the other ones.
All of that to say, this game looks fine. It looks okay. Maybe it'll be interesting. There's a playable demo out now that you can check it out. I might go check it out, just to see. But to kind of attach this to Metal Gear Solid was a weird choice. I don't know why they did that with the little homage with the box and the codec call sign and all that. It was weird because that's not what this game is. Mm-hmm. Sure, there's some stealth elements in it, but that's not what this is. So yeah, that was a little weird to tie those two things together. Sure. Listen, I'm just glad Konami's back making games. And this is one that I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Whoever wants that, I want that. Next up, one thing that did excite me Castlevania Belmont's Curse, a new 2D Castlevania adventure, Belmont's Curse. The game is in development at Motion Twin, which is the studio behind Dead Cells. Belmont's Curse is set to launch later this year. I think this is a great progression from what we saw from Dead Cells, which was clearly Castlevania inspired, and then they had that Castlevania update, that the Return to Castlevania or whatever it was called, where you got to play around in different Castlevania locales or Dracula's castle and have different weapons and so forth. That was neat. And then now, here you go, full Castlevania game from the Dead Cell creators, Motion Twin. I think it looks great. I think combat looks fantastic. And yeah, I'm totally in. And even almost narratively, they've kind of got some hooks in here that I'm interested in seeing. This is very much this is what I want Castlevania to look like in 2026. It looks like, there's another Metroidvania game later on in this this state of play rather, that I was like, man, after playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, this is maybe not holding up to expectations of what Metroidvanias can be. This looks like it could be, though.
It does. Yeah.
This looks a little closer to what I want. And I'm not saying everything needs to be Lost Crown, because it's kind of hard to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking excellent game.
Sales would say otherwise, Tavin.
Get fucked.
Too bad. You're just sad.
But yeah, Belmont's Curse, I'm into it.
Yeah, it looks sick as hell. Very stylistic. Castlevania's been away for longer than, on the gaming side of things, for longer than it should have. It was kind of a weird decision to tie this into the Netflix show. I don't know how. I'm hoping that doesn't factor into it too much. Yeah, because at the end it shows this is seemingly the daughter of Trevor Belmont. It seems like it's a daughter. Some people were saying it's a guy, but it looks like a woman.
I thought it was a woman.
I thought so as well. But yeah, he showed up at the end, and she kind of looks similar to the.
Didn't he die at the end of that show?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he did not. Yeah. So, and she looks like Sypha as well. Cypher, the female in that show, same kind of hairstyle, blue clothes on. Heavy focus on magic. So I don't know what exactly they're going with there, but gameplay-wise, it did remind me and Phil of Lost Crown, just in having lots of impact to it. Of course,
just
they're all the same kind of game.
The style, the attitude, the colors that they use, the honestly, effects going on screen.
Kind of more interesting use of colors here, like the whole back. I don't know if there's a point like that in The Lost Crown.
Yeah.
Oh, that one? Okay.
Yes.
So in other words, they're copying them.
I mean.
It's a
Prince
year
of Persia
later.
was just more like blues and golds, and this is more like reds and blacks.
Yeah.
Because it's Castlevania and we're vampires, Next up, Silent Hill.
We're vampires?
Huh?
But we kill vampires. We're not vampires.
Right, no, but we're playing with, directionally, we're playing with vampires.
Sounds like what a vampire would say.
You know what I'm talking about. Silent Hill Townfall. Following last year's critically acclaimed Silent Hill F, the horror franchise is back with Silent Hill Townfall in collaboration with Annapurna Interactive. Townfall launches this year. It's going to be a first-person Silent Hill. You got your little. It looks a little sort of like horror Bioshocky slash. I want to say almost like PT a little bit,
Yeah, they're definitely taking it a different direction due to the fact that it's first person.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, they've never done a first person Silent Hill.
Maybe in one of these spin-off games, especially the more recent spin-off stuff that has just kind of come and gone and not been so great or whatever. But yeah, I liked this. I think this looks cool and interesting. I want to play it.
So do I. I'm on the Silent Hill train now. I think I've officially stepped onto it ever since Silent Hill 2, but I didn't play Silent Hill F, so I guess I'm a liar. But
I touched Silent Hill F.
Yeah.
Seemed good.
And this one seems good as well from the images we're seeing.
I think this might look like the lesser of the other two major games that have come out, but it still looks quite good, and I want to play it. I like wherever this character is going. This definitely seems like classic Silent Hill, where it's
got his wife guy.
This guy did something, man. Something's going on with this guy's story. So yeah, I'm very interested to see where all that's going to go. Rev Noir, if you will, is an anime-infused RPG from Konami. Do we have a dev studio? No, just I guess Konami proper here.
Yeah. This is when I was like, okay, Konami, you're coming. We can go off to you. Someone else now.
Now I'll give them that this looks better than most anime RPGs that we get all the time, right? I think they've got some clear direction choices. I just think art direction is where we're looking a little generic, but there's clearly some scenario storytelling things that I think are more interesting than normal here. The gameplay looked solid to me. Let me get to a place where gameplay gives.
Yeah, well, we only saw a tiny.
Oh, it's more
bit.
Action-y based. Yeah, right.
It is. Yeah.
So yeah, it looks all right. It looks like it could be cool. But I agree with you. This was the one where I was like,
It's the art style.
I could go without this.
It just, as someone who's very much into anime, it just looks too generic.
We've got to retire this art style. This art style sucks. I get it that it's cheap and it's easy to make, and so we can make a bunch of them like this, but it looks like trash, and it doesn't look like anime.
Especially when you combine those little bits of combat that look really fucking cool. Look like you're doing some cool things in it. But just that art style.
Yeah, man. It puts a bad taste in your mouth. And I do think this game is going to rise above that. But like how much? So we'll see if anything else comes from that. Next up, Connor, an interesting one that I wasn't really expecting all that much, and I'm curious to hear what your impression is on it. John Wick, a new third-person action game starring Keanu Reeves as the what word is that? Eponymous? Eponymous?
Eponymous.
Eponymous? What does that mean?
It's like, he's like well known. He's like a notable
John
figure.
Wick was announced by Saber Interactive and Lionsgate. No official release info was revealed, but the debut trailer did feature a brief tease of gameplay. John Wick also said, "Yeah," in a classic Keanu Reeves way. Is Keanu Reeves confirmed to be in the game?
No, he is. Yeah, that's the whole thing with
he's doing
yeah.
it? Oh, okay. Cool,
it was
cool.
confirming. That's Keanu Reeves.
Okay, I thought maybe it was just like, well, John Wick is Keanu, or Keanu Reeves is John Wick, much like how like Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford, So like I wasn't sure if it was actually John Wick or if it was just a guy sounding like him.
Eponymous of a person giving their name to something. So I think it's like the fact that John Wick's known as like, John Wick. You know who immediately that is.
Okay,
I'm guessing.
Right.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Saber Interactive made Space Marine 2. As someone who's a big fan of Warhammer properties, it made you feel like a Space Marine in giant heavy armor taking on waves of enemies. I trust their vision. If they can make you feel like John Wick's, I guess he's eponymous, so everyone knows who John Wick is. And the cinematic trailers clearly shows him doing, crazy moves of using the environment to stab people in the eye and, break people's necks. And I trust Saber Interactive to make you feel like John Wick with this game. I think they're a game feel company now, and they're independent too.
Okay. Is this the best studio that we could have picked for this?
I think it is. I think if you want to make you feel like a certain character, they can make it feel like John Wick.
I mean, John Wick, American, of course, because it's John Wick. But, like, I get a lot of, like, European style from John Wick as a franchise. I think it's probably the directors, because the directors, I believe, are European. And so I just kind of felt like, maybe we could have picked, like there's like a little known French studio out there called Slow Clap that maybe had recently released a game that felt a lot like what a John Wick game could feel like,
That's true,
and, maybe we could have tapped them for that.
But here's the problem with them. There's guns in this one. I don't trust them now. Saber Interactive, they got guns.
Right, but like how John Wick uses a gun isn't how a Space Marine uses a gun.
No, it's not. But it's
honestly, the way John Wick uses it, I would trust Slow Clap more with that.
No, that's my point. It is, but he still has got some range to it rather than being up close necessarily. Tevin, it's about making you feel like the subject matter.
This is a dope trailer, and I think it sells the concept of what they're going for, and it marries what the dream John Wick game is that you would always want, right? How do you make it work gameplay-wise? I have no fucking idea.
It did show a little bit, but definitely overall,
it shows like the animations and stuff.
It does.
But like, what? How am I making those animations play? How does that work?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Because in a cinematic trailer, just make John Wick do John Wick things, and you got a good trailer.
Right.
And then reveal later, like get up to the reveal of it in fact being John Wick. Until then, do you actually see gameplay? That's all it is.
I just really wanted to feel that one-to-one. And remember in Sifu when you'd be like, all right, there's a guy charging towards me, there's a bottle on the thing, I'm going to throw the bottle.
Yeah.
That's a very John Wick thing to do. I've not played a Saber Interactive game that I can think of, so, I'll let you be the decisive voice in that. But
they've been around for a while, so you probably have.
I mean, maybe, like, way back in the day, but, like, definitely nothing recently. Mm-hmm. Next up, we got a new trailer for Marathon. This is kind of like Marathon's re-coming out.
It is.
It's
the best showing they've had yet.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, by far. And the internet has kind of turned around on Marathon a little bit, or quite a bit, I would say. I don't really understand why.
They didn't put their foot in their mouth.
The internet,
I guess?
knowing the internet to be what the internet is, I'm like, wow, you guys are excited? What?
Yeah.
Why? But yeah, this is kind of. We already knew that their open preview weekend was set for February 26th to March 2nd. This is just kind of reaffirming that. And then, of course, game launching on March 5th. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see if it's got the sauce. I mean, it's Bungie, man. You gotta trust that their gunplay is gonna be fantastic. I hope all of those delays, which were unfortunate, but I hope they made the best out of them. I get a feeling that Bungie knew what the reception was to everything that had been shown from Marathon so far, and they said, all right, let's turn the fryers on.
Well, if
and
you
let's
remember,
really get cooking.
The big turnaround point was that closed beta they did. It was more like, it wasn't like the general populace that was getting their hands on it that much. It was like games journalists.
Well, they did a closed beta, and it was like lukewarm. It was like lukewarm in reception, and then they did another one more recently, and that one was much more positively received. So
I wonder how recent, because I only remember the one that was saying, "Hey, gunplay feels great. This team knows what they're doing when it comes to making it feel good to shoot a gun."
Yeah,
but it was the returning elements of being an extraction shooter. Those elements were what's found lacking.
Yeah.
And the person that I was reading it, I think it was IGN or maybe it was Games Radar, was saying that they didn't really feel a strong desire to want to go back to it, which is the entire thing that this game relies on to stay alive.
So we will see.
Yeah,
and
that was before the delay was announced. I should mention.
Yeah, there was something after the delay that's happened that was like maybe it was just like, hey, we're inviting like streamers and stuff to like come test it out and so forth. But like the streamers are excited for it, which I think helps a lot. It really helps when the streamers are excited for your multiplayer game. And so yeah, I think a lot of the big guys, especially a lot of the big extraction guys. I know the Burnt Peanut is very excited to get his hands on it and try it out and play it for a little while. So yeah, I think there's a chance that they've somehow turned the ship around on this one. I'm interested in trying it, but I want public reception before I commit $40.
Well, Tavin, you don't need public reception. You just need to play the open beta.
Yeah, that's Resident Evil weekend. So get fucked.
Well,
how about that? How about that?
Unfortunate. It's the weekend, but not the day. You got a day before it comes out.
I mean, with how game releases work, like Resident Evil Requiem will come out at 11 p.m. on the 26th.
But 26th, this is the whole day of the February 26th.
Right.
You have to play it.
Right. I got a full-time job.
Oh, yeah? When is February 26th? Tell me that.
Pretty sure it's a Thursday, buddy.
It's a Thursday.
Which I usually work Thursday nights, to be fair. And I don't...
You can't play Resident Evil before you get to work. Like, you have to get back from work to be able to play.
So I got to spend my morning playing Marathon for that one morning and then go and play Resident Evil?
You could.
When I get back from work? That sounds like a great day. PlayStation Plus catalog has been updated. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will drop February 17th. Tekken Dark Resurrection will drop in March. The PlayStation 1 port of arcade classic shooter Time Crisis will join the service in May. While Houses? Open world co-op walking game Big Walk will launch directly into the service later this year. Cool little update. Time Crisis. Neat.
Cool. What?
A game that just keeps looking perfect, Connor. Every time this game shows its face, it looks perfect. And every single time it comes back, it looks more fucking perfect, Connor. I don't give a fuck about any other action game this year than Housemarque's Sorrows. I don't give a singular fuck about anything else.
Any?
Action game? Not one.
Yeah, your opinion on action games is dismissible.
There's a survival horror game that I'm quite excited for. But action game? Not a fucking one.
Crimson Desert. I mistake myself.
Don't even fucking talk about Crimson Desert to me.
Oh, fuck you. Down.
We got Sorrows coming April 30th, Connor.
Well,
Housemarque's spiritual successor to Returnal, my game of the year 2021. I'll remind you, it is the best. The best. I'm stamping my flag. It is the best. What is that genre called?
I don't know.
I had it. The Hades. It is
roguelike.
the best. I'm stamping my flag, Connor. It is the best roguelike game on the market. And we're getting a spiritual successor, Connor. And it looks even fucking better. And it's got Rahul Kohli in it. And it looks like it's going to have a really cool story this time. And the combat just keeps looking better and fucking better, Connor. Bullet hell euphoria, Connor.
No. It's not the best roguelike. Hades 2 is.
I'll put my fucking dick in your ass.
Yeah,
Hades
I bet you will. Here comes the disgusting remarks.
Hades,
a guy who backpedals into a corner
Hades 2's
only
really
has disgusting things.
It's really fucking good.
But yeah, to your point, because you've already been on this, this was the first time I was like, okay, I'm on. Because I didn't have Returnal to think back to of like, man, they're going to improve upon all these things that I played in Returnal. I just have my own eyes to feast
Look
on.
at we got upgrade systems
Yeah,
now. What
the
the hell are
upgrade
these
system,
about?
The changing of the world that it gets all like infected, corrupted at random points, and
Right.
the enemies get harder, but you also get debuffs, but also buffs. You know, it seems like this game's got a lot of life in it. And I know what you're looking at time-wise, but aside from that, it just, you know, I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen with this game.
Okay. If you want to jump in, I don't remember where we are at all, so if you want to jump in and talk.
Sure. Oh, is it going?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, finally, I'm on board with Saros. The progression system, the ability to have both well, not really the ability to, but the choice to have there be a corrupted version of the planet you're on versus the normal version of it that change just how the gameplay functions and the buffs and debuffs that you get and make enemies seemingly more aggressive, if I remember correctly.
There was a version of that in Returnal.
There was?
Yeah.
So it's basically, they're doing nothing interesting or unique in this one compared to the first one.
Or the first one was really fucking dope and you should have fucking played it.
4 years?
They're doing a lot.
5 years?
That's really interesting. All of the meter and the skill attribute stuff, all of that I believe is new. I don't remember. Yeah. I don't remember like a skill tree in Returnal.
Then that's what I like. I love my skill trees, and that one seemed like a pretty nice one. Though, you know, with
and
these
the weird like balance thing, whatever that was, like the where it was on a system. Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember what the purpose of it was.
The Eclipse, that's what it was called. The thing that changes things up.
This thing, whatever that is.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. But
that makes it like difficult or easier, and you have to kind of like the Hades system of going over again.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think that just makes it a better roguelike.
But it's like you have to be in the middle, but you have to balance it out with buffs and debuffs to your run. Or positives and negatives, whatever that might. I don't know what the.
Well, you don't have to be in the middle, but like your rewards are going to change, and the difficulty of the thing is going to change depending on if you're not.
I thought it was saying that it's incentivized. It has to be in the middle. It just can be range. It has a range to it to be on one end over the other.
My interpretation is you could be anywhere. Like your range is like your like ideal space to be in, but if you go like too far right, it's going to be really fucking hard. But if you go too far left, like probably the rewards aren't going to be aren't going to be as tantalizing or something like that. Is what I read it as, but I could be totally wrong because it was just flashed on the screen really quickly and then kind of went away.
So, Rahul Kohli's character is going to be a piece of shit.
You think so?
I think so. Oh. Just as that line of like, what are you doing this for? He's like, he said something noble, and he's like, liar, the guy he's talking to. And it just seems like, what's this guy got going on?
We'll find out. We'll find out. There was a lot of like hidden narrative stuff in Returnal, and so I'm interested to see if there's going to be any more of that. They seem much more direct with their storytelling in this one, which is fine. And then, of course, just the shields and the bullet hell and the action, like, it just looks so fucking good. He's running so smooth. Oh, my God, man. Returnal's so special, man, and I can't believe we're getting another one. Moving on, Marvel Token Fighting Souls had a new character reveal trailer showing off the collection of X-Men that are coming to the game. Wolverine, Magic, and Danger. We already knew about Storm, of course. And the way they presented it, it seemed like it'll be like teams that'll be represented, like it's later on in the trailer. We'll get to it in a second. There's a good trailer. The characters look good. Those are interesting picks. Danger, never heard of her before. Magic, of course, I mostly know just from Marvel Rivals, so she seems to kind of be taking some limelight in the modern era and so forth. So I'm interested in that. From
the comic book side of things, I was hearing people always... Magic's been around for a while, but it just like all of a sudden she's blown up. Like even... Like, before Marvel Rivals came out, she was getting increasingly more and more popular, and now she's even more known than Colossus to a lot of people.
Oh.
Like, Colossus is kind of like, a homegrown name, but no one talks about it.
I think it's just because of the mainstreamification of X-Men, and they've been around since, fucking, like, they've been around in the mainstream since, like, the 90s. So I think we're just kind of tired of seeing Wolverine all the fucking time. Now you still need to have Wolverine, but like he's there now. So like I think they're just like, oh well, we've created different characters in the last 20 years. So like we can use some of those too.
Yeah.
And that's great. I just think like in a mainstream way we haven't had like a great representation of Cyclops or a great representation of Storm outside of the cartoons.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, well it'd be cool to have better versions of those, but I understand that we are where we are. It was right. It was close to here in the trailer, right?
Yeah, what was your question?
There's like a thing where like the way that the marketing is laid out here and the way this trailer is shown. Let me pause at the moment it happens here. Where like it's like, okay, this is like all of the Storm associated characters that are going to be shown off, and then later we're going to show off all of the. Have I missed it somehow? And then later we'll show off. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, see how we colored in Storm, and then the other guys are still kind of like blued out here. Which team will assemble next? So I think it'll be like, hey, like here's our main guys, and then we've got like guys that like would be associated with this character. And that's how we've kind of built our roster is based off of that, is the names that would be interesting to you, and then we'll show the rest later.
I mean, if you're looking at it from here, I could see it being broken down in terms of like more of the Avengers-based characters being behind Captain America.
Yeah, so we have Cap and Iron Man already, so then you would assume Hulk. And then if it's just teams of 4...
Mm-hmm. Hawkeye for the Zona character.
Maybe a Black Widow or something.
Yeah.
I mean, Iron Man's already a zoning character, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he is. I guess he would. That's the other thing, is that who's Spider-Man being represented by? Is it like the vigilantes, the more on the?
I mean, I don't
people?
know. I don't know if it'd be a team name, but like Spider-Man, like
associating factor.
There's a lot of like associations. I mean, Spider-Man hangs out with the X-Men a lot. Spider-Man hangs out with the Fantastic Four a lot. So you could grab one or two of those guys, like a Johnny Storm or a Thing. I mean, some of the Spider-Verse characters, Miles.
All Spider-Mans?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Miles would play differently than Peter.
Yeah.
Venom would play differently than both of them.
Venom, of course.
You know, of course. Or maybe we dip into the Rogues Gallery a little bit and we have a Green Goblin or a Dr. Octopus or something like that. You know, I can see that. Of course, and then Dr. Doom. More
villains?
Fantastic Four.
Oh, it could be. I thought it was like villains, like evil characters.
Oh, maybe
he was representing. But then the Rogues
that
Gallery
would kind of
also
make sense because
too.
then we have our two major teams with the X-Men and the Avengers. Spider-Man taking up a huge amount because there's a bunch of Spider-Verse characters in there. Like a Madam Web would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then villains, you could do like a Doctor Doom, a Doc Ock, a Green Goblin, a Thanos.
Most of those were Spider-Man villains you named.
You know, and then Ghost Rider, I think, is sort of in our middle range here. So, like, you know, you could have like your Ghost Rider, your Deadpools, your Electras, maybe. Daredevil could show up as a Spider-Man type character, you know.
Oh, the New York-based heroes.
What do you want, Connor? Yes, they hang out together.
Trying to find I mean, like trying to find the
category that they fall under.
There's how many superheroes are in New York in
the
Marvel universe?
It could just be like the more vigilante types.
Yeah,
you know, so you're more like solo guys who are a little more street level. So
Deadpool would make sense behind him because I know him and Spider-Man have their own little rapport going on.
I think Deadpool would make more sense behind Ghost Rider, but yeah.
I get what you're saying there too. But I don't think these things really matter all that much. It's just a good way to roll out the kind of general characters you want.
Between like some smaller leaks and the fan analysis and like people like trying to break down how many characters are in this game, it seems like people have kind of landed on 20. And so if you know, they've got 5 characters on this screen, there's 4 X-Men, and if you assume Iron Man is going to be under Captain's side, that's, you know, and 4 there, 4 times 5 is 20. So there you go. Your 20 is like, you know, breadcrumbed out through these team reveals like this. You know what I mean? That's how I'm assuming this marketing is going to go.
It's a good way to do it, I think. It's so August. This is February when all this was happening. March, April, May. No, they'll stagger it.
Yeah,
once every month.
It'll happen in random things. You're not getting one every month, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know they'll stagger it out as they go. And you know they may it may be like the week before release that they'll show the final team or whatever. And then, of course, there's always the question of like, are there like secret heroes in there that we don't know about yet? You know, of like, really the roster is 24 and there's a whole team that they never advertised or something like that. You know,
blow people's socks off.
We'll see. And then here we go. We're leaning into the end of the state of play here, Connor. We got a big old final dump of Santa Monica Studios and God of War. And they kicked it off with a God of War trilogy remake made by Santa Monica Studios. And that's about it.
Yeah.
You know,
early in development.
Very early in development. They had the original voice actor for Kratos come out. He's much more enthusiastic than I thought he would be. He's a character. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
But you know, I enjoyed him. He went on a little too long, but I enjoyed his
return to the limelight.
Yeah, you know, he was having fun. And so they then announced it with another God of War game that's much smaller in scope and scale, and we're going to get into that in a second. I think announcing this God of War trilogy remake was a mistake. We are too early in development. It is too far away. Who even knows if it's actually ever going to come out? You know, games are getting canceled left and right these days. And it's coming out. And to announce it alongside the shadow drop of Sons of Sparta, you've completely overshadowed Sons of Sparta. Like, that could have been its own beat, and now the whole beat is the trilogy remake. You know?
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong, but I just think it was a mistake to announce it this early. You know, like
this is always a problem in the games industry of saying things when you don't need to.
Yes, and this one specifically, it's like, yo, the trilogy remake will sell no matter what. You know, you just didn't need to tell us about this. Like, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it could have just, I mean, still have the guy come out because Kratos' voice, or older Kratos, that is in Sons of Sparta. So just have him be like, hey, guys, I'm back as Kratos. And it's this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and hey, I'm back as Kratos. We got this new game. And then also, keep an eye out for me more in the future. Wink, wink. You know? And then that's it. That's all we needed. Just to be like, all right, more God of War with this guy. You know?
Saying less can mean more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know? Because now that you've announced that it's a God of War trilogy remake, well, now I have a million questions. And you don't have the answers to them.
The weird thing is that we know Corey, I know his name is not...
Cory Barlog.
Balrog is a cooler last name. So Cory Balrog, he is making his own game. That's a respectful title, by the way. Making his own game, nothing on that. I mean, in this day and age...
Yo, and the streets are saying that one's coming soon. like within the next year is what the streets are saying.
So do a trailer. Do a cinematic trailer. If you're
Announce
going
it.
to be doing something. I wouldn't even recommend that, but clearly if they're doing this so far out, do that, because it's less far out than that.
The word on the street is Cory Barlog's game. It's getting there. It's almost there, you know? Like, we've known about it for years at this point, you know? Like, it's been talked about for a long, long time. And so, like, I just think, like, we could have announced some smarter stuff than just a trilogy remake and then Shadow dropped a 2D Metroidvania game. But back to the trilogy. Now I have so many questions about what this is going to be, right? Like, what is the package of this? What type of remake is this going to be? Is this just kind of like a beautification of the original 3 games? Are we uniting them in some way, you know? Because each of those 3 games plays differently. Not, like, dramatically, but, like, you know, they're different in their own unique, very specific ways, right? And so now I have questions of, like, okay, are they still in the old style of gameplay, or are you making them in the new style of gameplay, which I think fans would be very upset about?
The best you could do, if you're changing it that much, is to make them all play more similar to God of War 3, but a more freshened up version of that, with whatever the main, you know, third.
Well, I mean, like, are we still doing the isometric camera, like, which I think you need to personally? Yeah. And then, like, are we unifying gameplay amongst the 3 titles? And then here I have another.
I think we are doing that. Yeah.
Right. I have a question. It's called the God of War Trilogy Remake. Not remakes. You know, or nothing to imply that this is 3. I mean, obviously trilogy, but, like, nothing to imply that these are 3 separate games.
Yeah.
Are they going to stitch the 3 games together? And this is my like pie in the sky, like, crazy fan wish list, is that because 1, 2, and 3 feed into the next one. Like, 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3 pretty seamlessly. Like, you pretty much pick up right where you left off, for the most part. So
2 and 1 being the biggest difference. 1 to 2 being the biggest difference.
Yeah, there's some time. There's a time gap between 1 and 2, but you can just kind of tell us there's a time gap or anything like that, right? But is this one big, like, title that you have just remade all 3 games and put them into 1 game and unified the combat amongst the 3 games? And then just have us replay it all with that unified combat and, like, probably new voice acting, cleaning up the story, probably cleaning up some of the not so well aged parts of the original trilogy.
Okay, if they take out the goddamn sex scenes, this game's gonna be
no. I think the
trash.
sex scenes will still be there. I don't know if the mini games will still be there.
Like, they're the same thing.
Nah. Just have him go fuck people. Like, because you gotta have him. There's one guy who's married to Persephone.
Hades.
Is it really Hades? No, it's not. I'm thinking about somebody else then.
Yeah.
There's one dude he goes and kills and then, like, literally steps into a portal and goes and fucks his wife. And so I'm like, you gotta have that.
Who is
That's Kratos.
Is it
man.
Aphrodite?
Maybe. It might be Aphrodite.
You kill Hephaestus, but they're not
Is
really
Aphrodite married to Hephaestus?
Yeah, but it's not a good marriage, so it's not really, you know.
That's probably it then.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Anyways. And so I think that'd be, like, a really cool experiment of, like, all right, you're playing God of War, and it leads up to killing Ares, and then you kill Ares, and then you're the God of War, and then, you know, a cutscene plays that shows that Kratos is going mad with power because he's angry at the gods and killing everybody, and so then God of War 2 starts, like, seamlessly, and then it's all just one big, long game. I think that would be a really cool twist and something to make this interesting beyond the fact of it just looking better and playing a little bit better, right? Without, like, taking away the classic God of War gameplay, without taking away the isometric camera, without like Final Fantasy VII remaking it. You know, like I don't really want that for God of War. I want the old trilogy, but like sort of like unified in vision, because while the original trilogy, most of those games like look and kind of play the same. I think there's just like small things you could do to kind of like just tighten it all up and make it look a lot better. That's my pie in the sky hope for this. And Sony, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there now. If you're so early in development that you haven't decided that, you can have it. That's a free idea. I don't want payback. I'm not going to sue you. Oh. If I do sue you, I want the judge to look back at this video and say clearly he said it was okay. It's okay. I think it would be cool.
This
all
guy
right.
thinks he's so fucking hot shit. You don't know what you're talking about.
There's like a thing where like if there's a common fan theory and it's like beloved, that they can't do that because of legal repercussions that could come later.
I
see.
You
know what I'm saying? So this is me saying of like, hey, here's a cool idea. If the internet likes it and runs with it and makes the video go a little viral or whatever, like and subscribe, share it with a friend. Then they can also
do it.
You know, because I'm saying I don't want it. You have it, you know, but you know, who knows? So, I'm excited to find out more. I like the God of War games. You know, they're not like my favorite things ever, but they're fun for sure. And so I'm excited to see more. I'm excited that Homeboy's back. You know,
that's the coolest part.
I love, and this is going to lead us into our last conversation of the last game of the state of play here, Connor. I love Santa Monica and whoever is the like, whoever's got like the franchise producer tag for God of War. I love that they love the whole series. I love that they respect the old as much as they respect the new. I love that they have like unified them all and said, no, this is the same guy. It's not a God of War 2018 is not a reboot. It's a continuation. It's just got a different vision to it. And then now we've got the same thing here with the final announcement at the PlayStation State of Play. That is God of War Sons of Sparta. This is a 2D Metroidvania game with a collaboration between Santa Monica and Megacat Studios. It has a pixel art aesthetic, side-scrolling gameplay, and is available right now, Connor. I've been playing it. It's like $30-$40, something like that. I've been playing it. I'm not deep in it at all. I am an hour or two in. I played 20 minutes the day it came out, and I got a little tie-tie. So I went to bed. It was my fault. It wasn't the game. It was me, you know. And then last night, I played for about an hour last night. And I'll start this off. I'm early enough to know that this game is quality. Is it going to be like one of the best of the year? No, it's not. You know, I think especially coming off of the comparison that we had with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, this game is not doing as much as I would like it to be doing. But combat is solid. It's fun. There's definitely going to be some depth in it.
Narrative depth or depth in gameplay?
Depth in gameplay.
Okay.
And narrative, I think, is going to get there too. There's a couple of narrative hooks that I'm interested in. This whole game is framed as a flashback of Calliope got in trouble with her mom, Calliope being Kratos' first daughter, got in trouble with her mom and was sent to Kratos, and Kratos is meant to teach her a lesson here. So he does it by telling a story of this adventure he had when he was young, you know, and this is going to be his sort of, you know, in a classic Greek style telling of like, hey, this is the moral of the story, and this is why you should listen to your mother or some shit like that, right? You know, that is interesting. You play as a young Kratos as a young Spartan soldier. He's probably like 14, 15, something like that, and he's out here battling the wilderness and battling beasts and monsters, trying to find his glory and so forth. And his brother Demos is hanging around here as well.
Oh, so he's in the game.
Yeah.
Demos I thought that was some random other Spartan that he became friends with.
Demos is a main character in this. He's right there alongside Kratos the whole time, and so far. So they open up with, I guess you could call it like a little opening boss fight, but it's a pretty simple fight where you fight a river cyclops. And this is why I think this is so great. Like whoever is the main producer behind God of War as a franchise is doing a really good job of keeping the whole series in scope. So like this is the youngest we've ever seen Kratos, right? We've had God of War prequel games before, like
Ascension,
Ghost of Sparta, and Ascension. Chains of Olympus is also technically a prequel, but that's in between 1 and 2. But yeah, so we've had prequel games before, but never this far back. So I enjoy that we're going this far back. I enjoy that they're taking the more pixelated art style with it to really give a sort of like a retro taste. There's even already a filter to like make it look like a CRTV.
Oh, really?
Which I'm like, all right, neat. Yeah, CRTV, right?
Yeah.
That you can apply with that, which you normally only see with like ports of old games where they apply that. Like the Metal Gear Master Collection had one on Metal Gear Solid 1. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think had, or not remake, the Final Fantasy VII port, I think had one as well. I could be wrong about that one.
I think so. I don't.
But we've seen this type of filter before, where people are like, "All right, put this filter on to make it feel like an old game." They did that here. It's cute. I turned it off. I was like, I don't like it. The default is for it to be off, but you can dig in the systems and find it. The game controls well, but back to my point of like whoever's producing the series is doing a good job, because like a lot of the enemies that were like just common fodder enemies in the original trilogy are like heavy duty like boss fights here. And you're like, oh, this is like a fight. And you have to like struggle to win. And that wasn't the case in the original trilogy, where like, yes, the first one would be given like, all right, here's the Cyclops. He gets his own little cutscene and a health bar. But then you fight him and you beat him and you kill him, and then there's like 12 more in the next room that you have to go fight. You're like, all right, cool, whatever. So there's that. It just feels a little basic to me. And maybe that's just the size. I don't know who Mega Cat Studio is, but congratulations to them. I also assume, I didn't say this, for the remakes, I assume Blue Point is going to be helping them out with the remakes for that. Especially because they helped out with God of War Ragnarok. They had their own God of War game in production that got canceled. And then now this remake trilogy is in early development. I assume this is more of a Blue Point project than a Santa Monica one.
This is their biggest game yet, I could say, from the things that were being shown. Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. I actually heard about that.
Look at that. Anyways, but I think the game looks solid. It like, I don't think it presented well in the state of play, but I think it looks solid when you're actually in the world. Like, it's easy to read the language and things. It's a lot of earth tones. It's a lot of brown, a lot of brown and yellows. So you're like, it's a little samey from screen to screen. But I imagine when I get 15 hours deep, that'll change. You know.
By the way, ancient Greece was a lot more colorful. They used a lot more colors.
They got colors.
Okay, making sure.
There's colors, but like, it's a lot of like fields of wheat and dirt. Like how many different colors can you make for dirt, Connor? Not that many. Anyways, so yeah, I recommend I recommend God of War: Sons of Sparta. I think it's worth your time, especially if you're a fan of God of War. I think it's going to be a solid Metroidvania. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the end. It has not grabbed and enraptured me yet. It's made me go, oh, this is fun. But, we're playing for the game club. I'm playing Cairn right now, which I'm infinitely more interested in personally. And Resident Evil is right around the corner. I mean, as far as games go, this was the proper time to release it. I think, like, whatever their expected sales are, I think they're probably going to hit those, especially with a shadow drop, no expectations, no reviews, anything like that. I think everyone's just going to immediately go, oh, yeah, let me play that and jump in, because they don't really have anything to play right now. So, yeah, I think they did a good job of playing it right now, but we'll see.
I was seeing some complaining online about this game. Well, the funny comment attached to that was someone saying, I don't really care about this game. It doesn't look really that interesting to me, but this is, and they were tying it into people complaining online. Like, this is the kinds of games that PlayStation 5, the average PlayStation 5 console lover should play, which they usually don't.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing it eventually. It's just there's so many other things to play, and it's not free. I like my free stuff. This doesn't, I'm not saying this should have been free.
What do you have to play right now? Not Game Club.
Playing Rogue Trader, Control. Those are the two.
Play something new. What are you doing? You're out here playing all this bullshit.
I
have so many other things to play
right now. Doing this. This loser.
You don't have anything to play.
All the time.
You're playing a game you've already played.
Every time he does this, and then about a week later, he'll be saying, well, playing my 2001 game or 2012 game. You do it too, you scumbag. Don't try to lie.
Yeah, but I do it.
Pick up Power Wash Simulator.
You'll be like, oh boy,
fucking swiping off grime from the floor. Oh boy. Shut up.
But I do it in between the releases of the games I need to play.
See,
I don't go, I have an
game.
interest in this game, but I'm not going to play it because I'm playing something from 2007.
Gaming is about will. It's about desire. It's about what you want to do. It's full autonomy.
Listen,
full autonomy, and you want to be a drone is what you want to be.
I'll say it, Connor. I'll say it. Your will has deteriorated in modern years.
You
know, when we started this podcast, you was on one. You were up there. You know, you were right there with me. We're right there with Phil. You know, but as we've gone on, you're just out here playing these like fucking random RPGs that nobody gives a shit about.
Exactly.
That nobody fucking cares about.
Because I realized you were a basic fucking loser who plays the games that are approved by the Committee of Video Gaming Journalism. And then when I stray away from that, all of a sudden I'm a criminal for engaging in what video gaming is.
We are too late in the show for this.
I know.
Moving on, topic number 3, Connor. This is going to be.
We're still doing it, okay?
Yeah, we're going to move a lot faster. Topic number 3. This is your first penny of the day. Go ahead, take it away, my friend.
Hideki Sato. This is from VGC. Andy Robinson. Hideki Sato, designer of all Sega's consoles, has died. Japanese games outlet Beep21 reports that Sato passed away this weekend. Sato and his R&D team were responsible for the creation of Sega's arcade and home console hardware, including the Master System, Genesis, Mega Drive, Saturn, and Dreamcast.
Sorry, I got a text about an emergency thing. Sorry. Okay, all right. What are you just not going to look anymore, or what's going on here?
No, now I was doing the time code.
Why? You don't know what the time code is?
Oh, shit, I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, I forgot. Sega has, by the way, made an update to this. Sega has published a statement following news of Sato's passing. Quote, "We are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Hideki Sato, who served as president of Sega from 2001 to 2003, it said. Sega would like to offer its condolences to his family and friends. Starting his career with the development of arcade machines, Mr. Sato was instrumental in the development of iconic home consoles, including the SG-1000, SC-3000, Mega Drive/Sega Genesis, the Sega Saturn, and Dreamcast." Quote, continuing the quote, "His leadership helped lay the foundations of Sega, and his contributions had a significant and lasting impact on the entire gaming industry. We will always..."
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't realize that would be in the way. My bad.
They're fine.
I'm trying to fix other things.
"We will always remember his contributions to our company, and all of us at Sega extend our deepest condolences as we honor his memory. The engineer joined Sega in 1971 and was the company's acting president between 2001 and 2003. He left the company in 2008. From the beginning, Sega's home console development has always been influenced by arcade development," Sato previously told Famitsu in an interview covering Sega's history.
Do we need much more than that?
No, I think this is a send-off because... Yeah. You know, we've mentioned this before. This is the period of time where a lot of people who were responsible for gaming as we know it today are passing away. Yeah. Time moves on. It waits for nobody. And so this is just the next person we've lost.
Yeah.
Last time we covered somebody significant dying in the industry. Well, maybe it was Ed Booth. Or Ed Boon.
Not Ed Boon. Vince.
Fuck.
Which we actually forgot to mention it. Damn it. Now that I'm here, I can't. Vince Zampella? No.
And I'm blanking on the Japanese, but the creator of the Dead or Alive franchise, at the time when it was contending with Tekken.
Now, granted, Vince died. Vince's death was not expected because he was like
car crash.
Yeah, it was a car crash, and he was like 40, 50 years old. So like that's young, and rest in peace to him. And also
Tomonobu. Sorry, my bad, because I feel disrespectful not knowing the name off the top of my head.
Rest in peace to Hideki Sato. As we just said, designer of a lot of all of the Sega consoles from back in the day. Yeah, and you mentioned it, Connor. The people who were instrumental for video games in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s are getting up there, and we're starting to lose a lot of our titans, a lot of our giants, our forefathers of industry here. And it's only a matter of time before we start, really seeing those names that really established games as an industry in the 90s and the ones that you and I are so familiar with. All due respect, I didn't know who Hideki Sato was prior to this news, but of course now that I do know, hey, respect, hats off, rest in peace, and thank you for your contribution, because we wouldn't be where we are today without figures like this in the industry. So it's just important that we pay attention to our history and when these things happen and make sure we give the proper respect and salute to these figures.
Yep. Tomonobu Itagaki was the other guy.
I remember that
Tomonobu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we'll be covering this probably more than just this one story this year for Gaming Legends passing
I mean,
away.
in the next decade, I expect quite a few names to go, unfortunately, and in the next 2 decades, I expect, some really, really well-known names, and I don't want to wish death on anybody, but time is time, and it's going to keep marching on, as you said. And some of these guys are really getting up there in age, and it's just important that we recognize that when they go, that we recognize their achievements and all that they contributed to our spaces.
Final penny.
Moving on to our final topic of the day. Connor, this is going to be your second penny of the day. Take it away, buddy.
Yep. Over from our TwoPennyGames Substack. Majority of Highguard developers laid off. 2XKO team faces similar layoffs. Designer at Wildlight, Alex Grainer, confirms in a social media post that most of the developers behind the multiplayer shooter Highguard were laid off following a lackluster reception. Quote, unfortunately, along with most of the team at Wildlight, I was laid off today, partly reads Grainer's LinkedIn post. This one really stings as there was a lot of unreleased content. I was really looking forward to that I and other design for Highguard. End quote. Garner's post was shared by audio director Brad Snyder and producer... Grainer. Grainer's post was shared by audio director Brad Snyder and producer Amelia Almeida, with Wildlight subsequently confirming the layoffs in an X, formerly Twitter, post. Quote, today we made an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with a number of our team members while keeping a core group of developers to continue innovating on and supporting the game, the post reads. We're proud of the team, talent, and the product we've created together. We're also grateful for players who gave the game a shot and those who continue to be a part of our community. End quote. Highguard made its debut at the last game announcement at the 2025 Video Game Awards, a spot usually reserved for highly anticipated games or titles from beloved developers. Public reception to the shooter was quite negative, with some viewers disappointed at the lack of splash that typically bookends this award ceremony, while others criticized it for stale visuals and uninspiring gameplay. Once launched near the end of January, the free-to-play game would gain a peak of almost 100,000 concurrent players on Steam before significantly dropping to a 24-hour peak player count of around 2,400 at the time of writing this article. In a now deleted X post, tech artist Josh Sobel criticized certain elements of the gaming community for the negative receptions following Highguard's unveiling. Quote, we were turned into a joke from minute one, largely due to false assumptions about $1 million ad placement, which even prominent journalists have begun to state as fact, Sobel writes. Within minutes, it was decided this game was dead on arrival, and creators now had free ragebait content for a month. Every one of our videos on social media got downvoted to hell. Comment sections were flooded with copy/paste meme phrases such as Concord 2 and Titanfall 3 died for this. At launch, we received over 14K review bombs from users with less than an hour of playtime. Many didn't even finish the required tutorial. In discussions online about Highguard, Concord 2XKO, and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that devs like to blame gamers for their failures, and that's silly, as if gamers have no power. But they do, a lot of it. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without the negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whims of the consumers, and the consumers put absurd amounts of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. End quote. Developers of the tag team fighting game 2XKO also faced massive layoffs this month, with Riot Games cutting 80 developers from the team as the free-to-play game failed to meet Riot's expectations. Quote, after a lot of discussion and reflection, we are reducing the size of the 2XKO team, writes executive producer Tom Cannon in a post on Riot's websites. Quote, I want you to know that the decision wasn't made lightly. As we expanded from PC to console, we saw consistent trends in how players were engaging with 2XKO. The game has resonated with a passionate core audience, but overall momentum hasn't reached the level needed to support a team of this size long term. With a smaller focused team, we're going to dig in and make improvements to the game, including some of the things we've already heard you asking for. We'll share some of our plans soon. So the bulk of this is, aside from the layoffs, is the post that Sobel wrote. There was a lot of talk on it on my end of things, and
I didn't see it. I heard rumors that something had been said, but I had not heard his statement in full.
Yeah, so. I read it when it was posted. I was surprised it got, well, I'm not too surprised. It got taken down. Yeah. People weren't too happy about it. I know Twitter, where it was posted, is very negative a lot of the times, but I was even seeing that same level of negativity, more critical, more properly critiqued, on Reddit. And, I understand what he's saying, because definitely the hate was overblown when it first dropped, because I know people's expectations during that award ceremony was that it would be a big heavy-hitting game. And a lot of people criticize Jeff Keighley for just, showing a game that he personally liked rather than what was necessarily proper for the award ceremony. I think a lot of this, though, is also the fact that, the internet says a lot of things. They get pissy about things all the time, and the Game Awards came and they went. It was a lot of it also due to the fact that there was no talk about this game from the developers after that negative reception at the awards ceremony, and, it just didn't do enough legwork to make people excited for it leading up to the release of the game. It just kind of dropped and expected you to remember it from the Video Game Awards. And
the Game Awards. Stop putting video game.
The video game. The Game Awards.
It's just a little thing that drives me crazy a little bit. It's a little tick inside me.
They are the Video Game Awards, though. But on the other side to this,
they're just the Game Awards. They are not the Video Game Awards.
I get what you're saying. But it's the most premier Game Awards out there, at least in people's minds. There's also the element of that. Part of his post was talking about how his studio set out to make a game that was apart from a lot of the corporate-y games that have come out in recent years and corporate culture. And while I certainly admire that, and I don't think the culture was very corporate, the counter to that is Highguard was very corporate-y looking. It looked run-of-the-mill, generic, not really setting itself apart as far as a multiplayer game in a space where it's just ridden with so many multiplayer games that it just didn't do enough to grab people's attention, Game Award stuff aside. And also on that end, it's really a lot of the fact that they didn't do any marketing for this game after that one trailer. They did that one trailer. It was never anywhere else beforehand, and then they just shut up about it. Cowed into not talking about things because of the reception it got, which I get to a degree, but you got to put yourself out there. You can't just hide into a shell.
So you've got some solid points here, but I pretty much disagree with you across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what was homie's name here?
Sobel.
Josh Sobel. I agree with him.
Josh Sobel. Mm-hmm.
I think the gamers killed this game. I think they didn't give it a single fucking chance.
But see, the issue with that is that 100,000 current Steam players, people put hands on, and that's just Steam. People played the game.
And how many were there the next day? So how much of a chance did they really give it?
But see,
and when you filter those Steam player counts down to anybody who had played more than 2 hours, the reviews went from whatever the rating is, mostly negative to mixed positive.
Definitely was.
So, and I'm not saying Highguard was like the greatest game ever, or that it was going to be the next Apex Legends or anything like that. It was trying to be, but I'm not saying it was trying to be that. But undeniably, the 100,000 player count is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. There was not 100,000 people who gave the game a chance. It's just not true.
Wait. 100,000 people put the game on. They didn't
hit the install button, hit play, and then close the game and left a negative review.
Yeah, they very likely could have.
Because even Sobel says a lot of them didn't even finish the tutorial.
Yeah, of course. And I did finish the tutorial, but that's why I'm sympathizing with against him to a degree. Because when I played that game, I did not have a single desire to even jump into a game. When you guys said, I think it was
it's a boring tutorial.
It's a boring tutorial, but also the game itself it didn't leave me inspired at all. Not a single bit made me want to jump right into it. In fact,
and I'm not saying that that's not true. It is a little generic. It is quite generic, right? It's not like Concord generic, I don't think. I think some of those characters were really interesting. And and to your point, there's some hot characters in that game.
There are.
There's some sexy-ass characters in that game.
The key difference here is that Concord felt way better to play. I mean, you and me haven't enjoyed that game. You don't agree?
No, I think Highguard feels better. I mean, this is fucking Respawn devs that we're talking about here.
Yeah, but that's the issue.
It was Apex Legends. It literally felt like Apex Legends.
It didn't really feel like that much of
one.
No,
it does.
Especially because the game system is not as... It's not the problem with...
Some of the guns are one-to-one Apex Legends.
It's also the game design. Because Apex Legends, it's a constantly shifting environment. You never know what's going to happen next. This one's a more traditional multiplayer where you have a very obvious objective and you're throwing yourself at the enemy line to try and achieve that objective. And that, combined with the fact that the game didn't really feel particularly interesting, the most notable characteristic of it was the mounts.
You didn't play a match, Connor.
Yeah, I felt no desire to. That's my problem, is that when I jump into a game and it doesn't immediately sell me on it...
I don't think your perspective is valid here. I'm sorry.
I think it's incredibly objectively valid because I played the game, I booted it up, I played the tutorial in total, and I jumped into the practice mode as well, and I was like, I want to play any other game that's not this. And you guys had, we were going to play it that night. And when it fell through, I was like, "Thank God!" And I didn't want to play the game, even after getting my hands on it. Which when I play a video game,
I don't think you have a valid
that's my issue, man.
Here,
is that when I play a video game, I want to play it. When I
You
boot
didn't
it up,
play it!
That's my point, though. Most games, I have some desire to play it afterwards. Concord had a lot of generic aspects to it. I wanted to play a game. I wanted to play with you guys. Even with you guys just about to play this game with me, I didn't want to touch it. That's my point, though. I'm not saying everyone gave it a chance.
But you played more Concord than you played Highguard. You gave Concord more of a chance. You didn't give Highguard a chance.
Yes, but even then, Concord, I was going to fall through and not want to play it again either, because I know how these games operate.
No, yeah, Concord was good for like 2 weekends.
It wasn't even, not even 2 weekends, really. It wouldn't have, it would
well, it didn't make it to the second weekend, first of all. But like Concord would have been good for like 2 weekends. We would have spent 2 weekends playing it and then moved on. Yeah. I may have wanted to do a third weekend sometime later, not like consecutively, but like there's still a part of me that wishes Concord was still around so that I could try it out and play it a little bit more. The Highguard is much better than Concord. Like Concord was like a 6, Highguard's a high 7. Like, it's a much better game than Concord. It plays better. The character abilities are better.
Oh, you said Concord 6.
The game, it has a unique game mode that works and is fun.
And
it's fun. You didn't even try.
But see, that's the issue here.
The tutorial is boring.
Here's
and I
the
agree
issue.
with you that the tutorial is boring. And yes, there is a level of genericism with the game.
Well, it's a tutorial.
But I think gaming culture's negativity put you in this position, and you are acting like that's valid when you didn't even play the game for an hour.
Kevin,
Name another game where you can play for an hour and say that's an objective perspective to have.
I'm not saying it's an objective best on how the game itself plays. A lot of people booted it up and didn't really spend any time with it. No one really wanted to because there's nothing that draws you into this. And you're ignoring all of the other elements that played into this, and you're just focusing on this.
I've acknowledged every element.
You acknowledged it, and then you were like, no, definitively what killed this game was the player reaction.
Definitively what killed this game is the player reaction.
The main things that did it, it's the fact that it's a boring, appearing game. Just having hot characters isn't enough. It doesn't do anything particularly interesting that makes you want to come back to it. And to top it off, they did nothing for this game.
That was your main point about Concord, is Concord didn't have any hot characters.
Yeah, and at least Concord was like, okay, let's do something to make people like try to want to try this game out.
What was that?
Do an open beta. They did marketing. They did trailers. They did demos.
And
they did nothing like
played it.
And this did nothing.
Some people played Highguard, but the overwhelming majority of them saw it as Concord 2.0. So they downloaded it, played it just so that they could leave a negative review because that's what the internet is.
Concord is more of an argument for gamer reactions and the press release of how
I don't agree,
dude. Barely anyone even jumped onto that game. That still got review bombs.
I don't agree because of the same reasons that I say Highguard should have worked and didn't. Concord had boring characters that you don't even remember really any of their names of or what they looked like, right? The character abilities were generic as shit and boring. The gunplay was fine. It was quality enough, but it wasn't great. It wasn't even really that good, right? And it had no interesting game mode to give the game an identity, and all of the maps were boring as well. Highguard has a map that you can understand and comprehend and play with and works with. It's got interesting mechanics that are unique to only it, and it's got a game mode that gives itself an identity. Highguard is a better game than Concord. And don't get me wrong, I think the internet killed both those games, right? Because the internet is a fucking pit of negativity, and people just want to be angry and mad all the time. But undeniably, and Concord had a $40 price tag, and it wasn't a $40 value game. Highguard is free to play, and it feels and plays like a free to play game, right? And it's I think a high quality free to play game. And it was listening to its community and and when the community said, hey, 3v3 seems a little small, they put in a 5v5 game mode within the first week of launch. It's just not on the devs this time around.
It is also not. Again,
now,
the other...
and to your marketing...
No. Remove it, because on the dev side of things, everybody was... Because in the post, it was a long post, he was talking about when they were in the shop working on this game, it seemed like everyone had only positive things to say about this game.
I'm not
it was just like an echo chamber almost. It appears like an echo chamber if you read the whole post. Like, they were super fucking surprised when the reaction was negative. Like, they couldn't even conceive that people wouldn't like their product. Like, they immediately were just it was going to be good.
Because their perception of the game was not that we were going to be on the biggest stage in gaming.
Yeah.
Their perception on the game was we are going to shadow drop this game. It's going to be free to play, former Apex, like what Apex Legends did, where nobody had access to it, and then it dropped, and it was the biggest battle royale for that year.
But see,
and I'm not saying it was going to be that. I'm not saying that. Don't get me construed as the guy who's saying Highguard was going to be the next best, greatest thing ever. No, it wasn't. But it would have been a fun game to jump in and play, and then every once in a while when they got a new update, oh, hey, they got a new game mode, let's check it out. Because this game had the high-quality shooting that Apex Legends has. It does. It literally does. And I don't understand that perspective that you have, and it's probably because you didn't play the game.
Yeah, I could do something more to make it interesting to make me want to play the game. If I play a tutorial, like when I played the Apex Legends tutorial, I wasn't like, well, I don't want to play this game.
Believe
I
you.
immediately jumped into a match. This one I was like, are you guys playing it? Thank
You
God.
probably
they're not
jumped
pushing
into a
me
match because I was on mic with you saying, hurry up and finish the tutorial. That's probably what
No,
happened.
dude,
Now, that was
you were
6 years ago, so I don't
You were
fucking
playing
remember.
another game, and then I was waiting for you, and
I
then all
was
of a sudden
probably
you were like,
waiting on
I'm going
you
to
to
bed.
finish the tutorial so that we can play.
Yeah.
Again, this was 7 years ago. I don't remember clearly. But I just think your perspective is so fucking askew because of what the conversation on the internet was.
See, you're just champing it up to just like, oh, well, the conversation's bad, so Connor's dumb idiot who follows things without thinking. At the end of the day, it does nothing to me.
I'm saying you went in negative because everybody
I
else
had
was
no
negative,
idea.
and so you didn't give any.
I don't give a shit. I was never negative. You're putting that in my mouth just because I wouldn't have downloaded the game if I thought it was negative. I would have said, this is not worth my time. I don't have any interest in it whatsoever. I downloaded it. Played how it felt, and then I was like, yeah, I know I did. I've been open about that since the beginning.
No, you haven't. You've been fighting me on that.
Yeah, because I'm finding you like you're acting like, oh, negative player reaction killed the game. The game itself. You
didn't
the game. You
play
the
it.
game was good. Then it was at a top tier, like great game. You act like you just said a thing that you never even intimated it was that good when you talked to me about it. Now all of a sudden when you're having to defend the game,
it was good.
No, you were like you basically like barely even like sold on it the way you do other games.
Like there's a whole like me and Phil talked about it for like 30 minutes. I don't want to get the fucking. I'm gonna cut this part out. Like me and Phil talked about it on the podcast for like 30 minutes of hey this game's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. There's some things I want to see in this, that, and the third. Like the game was of value. I talked to you. I remember walking into this room and saying, hey man, you should download Highguard. We're having a good time with it. And I want to try it out with the three of us as a full team. Like I had those conversations with you, right? And granted, we never got around to actually playing it. And sure, that's for XYZ reasons. Overwatch is relaunching and is having a great time in all of this, that, and the third, right? But, like, I just think unequivocal. Like, when you look at the Steam numbers, it tells a story. And to deny that is I think, dishonest. Because 100,000 players played, and it's got mostly negative reviews. But if you filter that playtime down to just 2 hours... it changes 2 different categories. It jumps up in quality 2 different times, the whatever the labels of reviews are. It goes from mostly negative to mixed to like mixed positive or whatever the fuck. There might be more in there. It might be a mixed negative, mixed positive, right? And again, I'm not saying it's a very positive, high quality game. It's Highguard, right? And I'm annoyed that I got Concord 2'd again, right?
Not to the same degree.
Not the same degree, no, because it's a free-to-play game. And so more people did play it. And there is a faction of people online that went, hey, guys, y'all are being extra negative about this. I'm having a good time. This is fun.
It's also not being shut down.
What do you mean?
Highguard's not being shut down. It's still up.
But it's coming when the majority of the studio is gone. It's coming.
It just does that really work though? Because they do that and then they say, well, the people that are going to stay on are going to continue to make stuff for it.
They're keeping servers open. They're going to update it a few more times for like patchwork stuff that you're not going to notice. There's not going to be another content drop.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to sit there and slowly die until nobody's playing it. And I imagine very soon, now that we have this news, it'll very quickly turn into, oh, there's no future for this game, so stop playing it.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Like, I fully believe with my full chest the internet killed this one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I saying that there's not reasons why it wasn't going to be the biggest game in the world, or that it was even going to live a full calendar year? No, I'm not saying that. But it didn't get a full month because of the internet.
See, that's the
issue. It got concorded because of the internet.
That's why I have an issue with the marketing, right? Because Concord, as it kept doing things, opinion didn't turn around. And that sucks. It really does, because it didn't deserve the hate it got either. Neither does this game even. But notably, and everyone made fun of this all the way up until this released, it was like, okay, well, where is this? No one's seen anything. You had a whole 2 months to do marketing, to do something. Because the internet's the internet. To your point, yeah, it's stupid. It's dumb. And that same function, you can use it to your benefit. Yeah. Because at a week later...
Can I counter this?
Yeah, well, let me finish my thing first.
I would love you to finish your point, but I'm going to counter it, and it's just going to be kind of moot, in my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
Marketing costs money, and they didn't have a marketing plan because Jeff Keighley saw the game, played the game, and I'll put this more on Jeff Keighley's shoulders than I will the devs or their marketing team. Like, Jeff Keighley, you should not have given it that much elevation. That's a Keighley Keighley, you shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. You put the game in gamers' minds at a level, and you know the internet too well to do this. You put the game at too high of a point, knowing that they were just planning to shadow drop it, and that they didn't have a marketing plan. And a month later, You can't just scrounge up a marketing plan out of nowhere.
Oh, you easily can.
No,
that's
you can't.
That's the issue here, is that
You
we're talking
literally
about
can't,
No,
Connor.
you can't. Not in the way you're thinking of. I'm talking about a marketing campaign of interacting with people to make them want to play the game. Their Twitter account was silent. It's still silent.
What should they have said? It's the internet.
That's the point, though. The internet.
Tweets aren't going to change the opinion.
I know. See,
Concord had a whole marketing plan for a year and a half, and nobody changed their opinion on it. You think tweets would have done anything?
Yeah, there's way more ways to market things in this day and age than doing high production marketing things that's all backed by Sony putting things into a $400 million game.
The game is a new indie studio working independently. They didn't have the budget for your marketing plan because they never planned to market it.
So the opposite solution is to just say nothing, act like you're dead, act like that no one even works at the developer, say nothing, do no interviews. These things don't cost a lot of money or any money at all.
The proper solution was to say, hey, Jeff Keighley, we would love to be on the Game Awards stage, and we'll scrounge together a quick trailer, but put us like in the middle somewhere where it's not that big of a deal. Don't give us this big ass spotlight and make us your one big thing, right? Because then you get Titanfall 3 died for this crowd. Guys, Titanfall 3 is never going to happen. Let it go.
Apex Legends is out. But yeah,
Apex Legends is slowly dying too. Yes, that's how these things work. Multiplayer games are not built to live forever. They never have been. Don't let Fortnite and now Overwatch confuse you with that. These games don't last like that. Why do you think Call of Duty comes out every single fucking year? Because people, one, will buy it because it's from a bygone era, and two, because they know they need to keep that status up to keep the brand alive. If Call of Duty worked like Fortnite, Call of Duty would have died 5 years ago. Highguard was sent out to die by Jeff Keighley, and then the internet made their decision well over a month before the game came out and had a chance to prove itself. I fully believe this would not have happened if it shadow dropped as planned. Would it be the biggest game ever? No, but it would have a collection of things. It wouldn't be a mostly negative Steam review. It just wouldn't. That wouldn't exist because the internet wouldn't have had time to gestate and stew, and grifters online, all of these YouTubers who want to hate video games because that's their fucking job, is to just hate. They wouldn't have had a month worth of content to dissect a fucking cinematic trailer of bullshit that didn't even show what the real gameplay was.
Oh, people weren't dissecting that thing.
No, they were. They were tearing it apart. And saying it's generic for this reason. It looks shit like this. It's DEI for this. It's woke for this.
But how many
they didn't
people
even give it a chance?
But how many people are really going to be influenced by that decision to make it to be this much of a failure? I get what you're saying, and I think it's the main reason why it drops.
Conversation will take you a long way. Mm-hmm. If the overwhelming majority of conversation on the internet is negative for what I would say for no reason, because all of this conversation happened before the game launched, nobody got to play it. The overwhelming majority of the conversation, the comments are flooded, the Reddits are flooded, the YouTubes are flooded with, this game looks like shit, this game is shit, this game's gonna be shit, this game's shit, Titanfall 3 died for this, that, and the third. If that's all you see, guys like you aren't gonna pick it up. This is why I'm saying you were affected by the internet, and you're not willing to admit it because you're prideful. And I appreciate that about you, right? But I do believe you were affected by the internet.
This is what bothers me, man. It's not even remotely
you went in looking for another Concord, maybe not intentionally, but I think subliminally you were already in the mindset to be like, this is just another Concord because of what the conversation on the internet was for a month and a half before the game released.
No one fucking talked about the game after that initial reaction. That's my issue. Only to say that Highguard's developers were doing. That's the only thing I saw, is that they weren't doing anything, and I never saw anything from them either to get me excited for it. I didn't have the negative reaction that the internet had. I just had a game that looked generic, that didn't look like anything special, and then they did nothing to convince me of that in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even know you had loaded up the game. If I had known you had loaded up the game and played the tutorial, I would have been right next to you and said, all right, let's go jump into a game. And you would have played one game and been like, oh, I get it. I'm not saying it would have changed your mind. It wouldn't have been on your top 10. You would have just enjoyed it for what it was for the weekend or two, right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, is it would have been fun for a few weekends. But because the internet is what the internet is, it just made everybody's inherent perspective be negative on the game. Is we are now looking for reasons to tear it apart. We're looking for reasons to call it generic. We're looking for reasons to say it's the next Concord, when it just wasn't. And if the marketing plan was centered around this idea of a shadow drop, and then how much material did we get after that shadow drop? A fair amount.
Not like it wasn't like overwhelming, but like trailers started happening. After that, because that was always the plan. Because marketing is expensive. Movie budgets you have to double your movie budget for the marketing. A marketing plan just doesn't come out of nowhere because Jeff Keighley has the biggest stage and just wants to now put it on his big stage for free, right? And even Josh Sable or whatever the fuck his name was even said it. Yo, journalists weren't doing their job either. And they were running with this narrative that wasn't true about how they paid $1 million to be at the end. We said that on our Game Awards recap podcast of all right, well, clearly they paid to play here. And it just wasn't true. Jeff Keighley genuinely just really liked the game. And that's great, but Jeff Keighley, you should have a greater understanding of your platform and what the internet is, and you shouldn't have done that to that game.
I feel bad blaming Keighley because it's kind of like, I understand you're saying
I think far and away it's the internet.
Yeah.
And then Keighley is secondary, but it's a long secondary. I'm not putting this on developers at all.
To the degree of making a game that just doesn't pop in any way. Yeah.
It would have just been another video game, Connor.
Yeah, and that's the issue with it.
There's a bajillion games that come out every fucking year that get chances. Arc Raiders doesn't look that much more interesting than this.
No, it does not. No.
And yet it's the biggest game ever. The whole, it looks generic. I think that's bullshit. I think the internet just decides what gets to win and doesn't. Now, you can say it's because things look generic that it doesn't win, and there's some validity to that for sure. But Highguard's one of the best playing shooters that I've played in a minute. Like, in terms of how gunplay works, you don't get to flinch your eye at me like that when you didn't play a single match. You don't know how the guns felt.
I mean, I shot against bots.
You shot against bots. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have any really solid gunplay in Concord was better.
I don't agree.
That's good jury.
I think
the mount
that's just
system
not
was
true.
getting from point A to point B rather than its whole other way of fighting.
Nobody in the world has said that. That is a Connor unique opinion right there. Nobody in the world has said that. And I think it's because you didn't play a match. Because I guarantee you, if you only played the tutorial of Concord, you would have the same opinion. You'd be like, these are the exact same games. And they're not.
Even so, regardless of my opinion, the game I know I'm beating a dead horse, it looks bland. It looks uninspiring. It looks corporate, even though the big branding of the studio was that we're not corporate, and then you do exactly that.
I don't think that was the big branding of the studio.
Well, that's what the developers were saying.
Right. The message that hit the audience was these are former Respawn devs. These are the guys who made Titanfall and Apex Legends.
Yeah.
And the game is just a rip-off Apex Legends. Yeah, because that's what they know what to do.
But it's not even that. It
is that. And if you played any game, you would know that.
It's its own game, though. Still,
it's a rip-off Apex Legends. Like, the gunplay is exactly the same as Apex Legends. It's exactly the same. That's not 100% true, but it's mostly true. It's like 90% true.
I just don't
like,
see that
literally,
at all.
like, the shield UI is 100% the same. Like, that I can say is 1,000. Like, you literally just went, oh, that worked last time. Let's just plug it in there.
Yeah, I can believe that.
In the same way that, like, God of War Sons of Sparta uses the new God of War Ragnarok UI. Like, that's what Highguard does. It's the same fucking UI. The main menu is laid out exactly how Apex Legends is laid out.
Different studio, but still. Like, from different Sons of Sparta, it's technically still Santa Monica.
The Highguard UI. Oh, I see. You're back to that. But they use that because they know it works in Unify. Again, the production manager on that is whoever's managing the series of God of War is doing a great job.
Oh, okay.
That's why that is that way. But yeah, I don't know how you look at the numbers, the hard numbers, and go, oh yeah, the internet made up their mind. It's just not fair.
How they didn't make up their mind?
No, the internet made up their mind.
Oh, I mean, they clearly did. I'm just saying it's far more than just the negative reactions of an award ceremony that took place in December, at the beginning of December. Like, at a certain point, you can't just say that's only why everything was bad when there was nothing else from that game past that point. Like, yeah, I get it. It was meant to be shadow dropped. You shouldn't have fucking put it up on the goddamn stage then. Don't put it up there and then not do anything after that. Almost every single other game that was at the Game Awards will have stuff that happens.
They didn't have
up to
the money for
it.
It wasn't a plan. You can't put a marketing plan together in a month. It's just not possible.
I know you've done things like bring up college, and my argument has been that college doesn't have as much relevance as you might think.
I'm just talking about how business works.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't have a business degree. I just know how business
I know.
works.
That's what I'm talking about. With marketing, the main key thing I learned in the small marketing classes I've taken, because being in a journalism degree, they make you learn about a lot of different things. It's in an era where it's not like advertising was before. A lot of advertising can easily be done free.
But
and there
this
was just
isn't
no
a small
effort done there.
business.
But that's the thing. They were teaching us random college students with not any infrastructure, like a company, being able to make our own marketing like bits.
Right, but they didn't plan for that.
I know that. See, that's
And you can't
why
just
would they not?
you can't turn it around and have it work in a month.
Oh, you can't plan for something over the course of the next 2 months before it comes
we've
out.
Already been saying it was a month. First of all, December 8th to January 27th. 25th.
Like
That's a month and
a half.
2 weeks.
More than a month and a half.
So it's a month and a half. All right, and the industry shuts down immediately after the Game Awards. Everybody went home for vacation. So really, you're looking at 3 weeks max. You just don't.
The reaction is just
that's
play
just not
possum?
that's not how these things work. It's just not how business works. It's
just
just not true.
Tevin,
Connor,
we're in the
what you're
internet
saying.
age. Things just pick up off on the internet in the same way it could be the exact opposite, almost
Who
completely uncontrollable.
Give me one thing that you wanted. Give me
One
just
thing that I wanted?
Give me one thing that you wanted.
The character to not look generic.
No,
and just
I
only
mean
have
marketing. I'm talking marketing.
marketing.
What is one thing you wanted?
Well, since you have a whole entire dev team,
Just
that has
give me
access,
one thing that you
I'm
wanted.
doing that. When you have an entire dev team that has access to your own game, make some matches. Have some people that you know personally to play a match, and then show people what the game actually feels like, rather than just again going back to the generic trailer, just a normal cut trailer that doesn't do anything to really show
you
you what's fun about it.
wanted a 30-minute raw gameplay footage.
You could do that. You could do little tiny bits of fun gameplay moments that happen in the game, because that's what people also really like. It's why Arc Raiders picked up, because you have those moments that happen. It's why Helldivers picked up, because you have moments that happen.
So now you
that
have
make
to
the game fun
now you have
and
to pick up.
marketable.
Now you have to pick up monetary value. You have to pick up money. Where's the money coming from that is paying for these people to come in, play these games? You have to pay them for these things. You who's paying the editor? Who's paying the voiceover? Who's paying the audio engineer? Who's paying the graphic designer for the marketing package? The words that come up on screen, just the blank words that have the little like smoke effect that pop when the words hit the screen. That somebody made that. It takes them time. Every second that happens in a marketing video probably took an hour to make. Now extend that over a 3-minute trailer. The money speaks for itself.
Even aside from that, though,
like
when you can, because to your point of like getting people to do these things, you have an entire development team. I, as one person, can think of a number of people that for free would come in just to do my little game once, so I can do a little bit, like I can record some footage and then have some fun little moment to put on there.
And then you said yourself, Concord tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah, because Concord was just.
So why would Highguard try that instead?
As you said before, because I was going to make a counter argument earlier. Concord was $40. You have to get people to buy into it. This is the benefit of not having that. You can just jump in, and there's no word to your wallet whatsoever.
I think you're giving the internet way more credit than they deserve.
I'm not trying to give the internet credit. It's just your reaction to be like, no, this is what it is. In a game, in an era of gamings where things just fail massively, just because they didn't have that specific element that gained traction on the internet for enough people to learn about. We're in too much of a crazy time to just say that one thing, that one splash in moment time is justifying why this game had a complete failure across the board.
Every video they would have posted, every tweet they would have made, every little clip that they would have made would have just been flooded with comments because people were mad about the Game Awards, would have been flooded with comments of shit game, boring game, generic game, woke game, DEI bullshit. Like, that's just what the internet would have been.
Of course.
And so, if anything, you would have just fanned the flames harder by doing that.
And saying nothing does the opposite? I mean, that's the problem. Is that if you're saying people think about the game already that way, why is all of a sudden showing more of that, more in-depth gameplay rather than a selectively cut trailer is going to make those people have any effect on what happened with this game here?
Because we just saw Concord do it, and it fanned the flames harder, and it led to not even 200 people playing on Steam.
Again, because you have to pay $40 for it.
Again, yes, but the marketing of Concord just made it worse. So, oh shit, we're in a bad position here. That didn't work, so let's go the other way. That's simple logic behind the scenes. People just try shit, man. There's no science behind this shit. It's people just try shit, and the masses make a decision. My point is, Jeff Keighley put it on an elevated stage that it did not belong to, so he unintentionally got the internet to dogpile on this game that would have been more successful if they had shadow dropped as planned. That's my point. Highguard did not live past a month because, or this studio rather, did not live past a month because the internet already made up their minds. And if they had shadow dropped as intended, they would not have been able to make up their minds. And then people would have played it, They would not have had a negative outlook on it. They would have been like, oh, shit, this is some form of Respawn debt. Let's see what they're doing. Because that name alone would have been enough to get the ball rolling. That name and that one trailer would have been enough if it shadow dropped. And nobody knew about it. But because it was put on that stage, and that stage is more watched than the Super Bowl, which I'll remind you, the more people you involve, the more eyes and perspectives you involve, just the more negative it gets. It's the same reason that Bad Bunny just put on a great Super Bowl halftime show, and half the internet seems to hate it.
But the actual numbers were not that, didn't bear that out. So that's the difference between what's on the internet doesn't necessarily relate to real life.
Right.
But this game has none of the elements that can counteract anything that people were saying on the internet, regardless of whether it was just to hate on it or to properly critique it.
I'm sorry. Back it up. I'm sorry. I got lost there.
When we first saw that game, we didn't have anything positive to say about it. We had like nothing.
I said it looks like it could be fun. It could be what I said.
We can say that about every single game that comes across.
I'm not saying that about 4Loop.
That's true, yeah.
So, no, that's just not true. I looked at it and I said, former Respawn devs, gunplay looks okay. The horse thing is weird. Let's see what they have. And then I went and checked it, and I was like, hey, it's a quality game. It's not going to be on my top 10. If anything, it's going to be number 10. But it's a quality game. You know, it's worth trying. It's worth checking out. It's worth playing. But the overwhelming thing was for gamers to be negative. And I'll say it again. Not everybody who watches the Game Awards are gamers. Or even like video games. I think there's an overwhelming majority of people on the internet who talk about video games who don't like video games.
There's a lot, especially when it comes to the...
Maybe not majority, but just...
There's a big section.
The vocal majority.
Like, you have the people that play the big games that come out every single year. And I
that's
think
all
that's a lot of... Yeah, that's a lot of what people do. I guess in that same conversation, to counter that, a free-to-play game that doesn't set itself apart from really any of the others, except they did have that bad moment on the show because of how it was set up.
I mean, but we're seeing it on a small-scale version of it with Sons of Sparta. Like, of a lot of people going, ugh, 2D, ugh, pixelated, ugh, that's not God of War. You know, because God of War is not even what the God of War trilogy was. That's not even what God of War is anymore. It's 2018 and Ragnarok, right? That's what the mainstreamification people who don't play video games think of when they think of God of War. So when they see this 2D thing, there's a large percentage of people, I'm talking general populace, not gamers, who think 2D games have no value. And that's simply not true. You know?
No. Well, maybe my gaming taste would indicate
you should play more
that.
2D games. You should play. You need to play a lot more 2D games.
I agree. But I mean, I get why Sons of Sparta didn't have that like negative reaction or even close to it that Highguard did.
The state of play stage is much smaller.
Smaller, yeah.
And it was behind a God of War trilogy remake announcement, which overshadowed it entirely.
Yeah.
That the same thing would be like if they put the Fate of the Old Republic right behind or right in front of the Highguard trailer.
Yeah.
You know, then nobody would talk about Highguard. You know, in the same ways. But then people would have checked it out and played it, and it wouldn't have gotten a mostly negative Steam review. You know, which is why, again, I say that we just shouldn't be listening to these reviews because it's full of people who, one, don't know what they're talking about, and two, don't even like video games.
Reviews?
I think your general populace reviews.
Oh, I see.
The user scores, the Steam user reviews, like. Sure, like you can gain information from those, like if the game doesn't work, you know, like hey, it doesn't launch, or when I hit start, the game crashes. That's a valid review to have, right? Like that, and there's a valid reasoning for your review to be negative, then, right? But if it's like I played 20 minutes, didn't like it, that's not a valid review. That's not like you can't tell me if you play 20 minutes and then it's a 3 out of 10 game. You didn't play it.
Yeah,
you know, that's just not how. It's not how an intellectual review works. That's not how a review of value works, you know, of anything, right? You can't watch the first 20 minutes of a movie and know if it's good or bad. You can probably get a good idea, but you can't know.
Some exceptions, but
you're just being dishonest, I think. Like if you subscribe to that. Like, and it's why I don't really give that much credence to user things, is for that reason. Anyways, we've gone on even way longer on this than I thought we were going to. Phil said it looked like Paladins. Sure. Yeah. Again, at no point was I denying that the game looked generic.
No.
It looked generic. It did. And I think they picked the main guy that was their poster child. They picked the wrong character.
Yeah.
There's other characters. They should have picked the fucking the like fucking evil Dark Queen lady or something
That
with
would've
thick
been a
ass
lot more.
thighs. You know, like you should have done that. Listen, Overwatch picked Tracer for a reason.
Yep, and they framed her in the cover for a reason.
If Overwatch picked Soldier 76, do you think it would have been the same? Like, I mean, it would have still been successful because it was a white man. But Soldier 76 isn't interesting visually.
No.
Not really. I mean, he like sure in the sense that just Overwatch is visually interesting.
Yeah,
but like as a design, you've seen, that's why his name is Soldier.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy, right? They picked the Soldier of Highguard. You know, there were multiple other characters you could have picked, and it would have been a more interesting poster child.
Yeah, just
they missed the mark on that, and that's probably from behind the scenes. What do you call it? Field testing.
Play testing.
Not play testing. But like surveying.
Oh yeah. Just
like of just getting opinions from random people. Like, and just survey, who's the most interesting looking guy, and you got that.
And what chose him?
Of all those, man. I don't know, man. There's probably at least 3 characters in Highguard that look more interesting than that dude, you know. But yeah, no, I'm pretty comfortable and confident in saying that the internet is the reason Highguard failed. Now, it would not have been the next Apex Legends.
No
one's
claiming
so
that.
we're already looking on the smaller scale of things.
Yeah,
because Apex Legends isn't even the biggest thing in its market. You know, so we're already looking on the smaller scale of things. But the internet made its mind up before they even touched sticks.
They did. It's just the internet's such a volatile, fluid place. That's just not a thing that's definitively will never change, and that's just you.
But I
throw our hands up.
I think word of mouth, because of that reason, is what killed that game. Again, if it shadow dropped, the word of mouth would have been like, "Hey, have you checked this like free to play game? It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. We should try it out. You want to try it out? Let's try it out. Hey, I've been enjoying this. Come join me this next weekend." You know, it would have been that. And instead it was, "Hey, I've been playing this Highguard, the game everybody fucking hates." Well, yeah, but I'm having fun. I'm cool. Thanks. That's how that negativity wave works. You know, is in that. I just had a conversation with a coworker. This is off topic now. I had a conversation with a coworker like 2 days ago where I was like, because he's a gamer. And I was like, "Man, you play Overwatch?" He goes, "I used to, but I dropped it, and I've been playing for like the last like couple of days with my friends." And I was like, "Me too. We should play sometime." You know?
Never will, but
that's how that word of mouth works. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for letting us rant about games. I'm sure this episode's probably around the 2-hour mark now.
It's above the 2-hour
yeah,
mark. It's like 2.5 hours, like getting to...
Jesus, fuck.
It's probably longer than that.
We're going to have a lot of breakouts, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you so much for it. Drop your perspectives down in the comments down below.
Focus group.
So that we can...
Phil said that.
Thank you, Phil. Focus group. I was looking for that word recently on a podcast, too, and I couldn't get it. And, yeah, focus group. Anyways, subscribe, like, follow for more. Connor, we yelled at each other pretty intensely this week, and I want to make a better effort on camera.
Pussy.
All right, I tried.
Say it.
No, I want to make a better effort on camera of like, yes, we yell, yes, we get because we're passionate and we care deeply, right? And the two of us are quite prideful. And so we get into it, but the cameras are gonna shut off, and you're my best friend in the whole world, and I fucking love you. And we're probably gonna play Overwatch or something later tonight or something.
Very likely.
Guys, Overwatch is pretty fucking good. There's gonna be a breakout review of the new Overwatch season.
Unfortunately, we are supporting sexual predators by playing it, even if it's different. Even if the branding's different. Yeah, we're supporting their work
because they're dead. A lot of those guys are gone now.
They are, but they live on in spirit.
You think does residuals happen in? I don't know if residuals are a thing. They're not really a thing in games, right?
No, definitely not.
They probably should be though.
They got to be residuals for somebody, not for those guys.
Maybe for like writing and acting.
The SAG making all those deals.
But game developers are not unionized, and they should be, and they're probably
maybe it helped this. But it wouldn't have. But
was Jeff Kaplan a bad guy or
no? From all accounts, he just is a nerd.
And see, he's probably not getting any more money off of Overwatch, and he probably should.
Yeah,
because he left.
He's why it got as popular as it did, or at least one of the main reasons. It's true. Everyone, Tavin, in the Overwatch community, I know whenever he would do his update videos, they'd be like, "Yeah, Jeff!" And then I watch his videos, and he's like, "I am Nerd McNerdison," and he's the most nerdy guy in probably next 500 miles.
It's certainly a thing, but like this is like a tertiary element, no?
It is, but it enhances it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe, follow for more. And until next time, have a great time. Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Why? I didn't say bye.